Hello and welcome to the day where football may not be coming home to begin with, or may be coming home. Nobody
Never coming home.
knows. It's never coming home. My name is. Well, I'm not even going to do it because we know who everyone is. The only person we don't know is the man with the big Croatia thing at the bottom. My name is Eddie. It's Arn. It's Big Rogie of Scotland, but now adopted of Croatia.
Yeah, of course, it's
Um,
Croatia for the day.
Alan, how are you doing? Welcome to
I'm
being
not bad.
first.
I'm-
The first
I've
person
got a
in
load
our
of
chat.
English people come into the chat and absolutely rinse you for wearing that.
Yeah, well, fuck them. They lost in 2018. They're losing in 2021. It's going to
probably.
happen. Feeling good.
So we are about how long are we away? We're
Moments.
about
51 minutes away.
51 minutes away from England potentially saying it's coming home, or blaming one defender for one mistake, or a goalkeeper never lives it down again.
There's definitely a few mistakes in that back line.
Yes, Arn and his tactic board
I
is
love
out.
my tactics board.
The good news is he now has names to it, as he messaged me at 10 o'clock this morning telling me I've got names to it.
Yeah, well, I had a bit of a problem yesterday. So we were sat doing the recap of like Russia and Belgium, and I'm just looking at the numbers, going, "That's someone." So I'll fix that. They've actually got names. I'm so excited. I'm going to put it on screen so you can see.
So let's have a look. Here we
Look at that.
go.
How exciting is
So
that?
I'm going to attempt to blazingly announce everyone from the Croatia side. Arn can attempt to. Well, he doesn't have any problems with names. However, I will with this one. Glivakovic, Kaletakar, Vida, Gvardiol, Verzalko, Modric, Brozovic, Kovacic, Perisic, Kamaric, and Rebic. That looks very interesting. Alan, as our as our regularly noted for today Croatia fan, what do you think?
I like the looks of it. Rebic still, about 3 years later, still confuses me as a player because I don't know if he's actually good or if he's just made to look good by who's around him.
He tends to like to run at people and then not really have an end product, but sometimes he scores goals.
Yeah, that's
he's a very confusing man. Also, I'm not really sure how they're going to line up here. The experts have him here with Kramaric on the outside.
Strange to me.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that. To be honest with you, I think it's more likely he'll play out here and Perisic will play out there and Kramaric will be through the middle. That's what I think.
That's how I'd expect it to line up anyway.
And I think that's how Southgate's expected him to line up, which is why he's played Trippier, because when Perisic is attacking, he's probably going to come here, and then Perisic, Trippier, when he's coming across, he's right-footed. That's the only way that makes sense to me. If Rebic plays over that side and he's attacking, Trippier's like, let me show you in here, and he'd be like, whoop.
There's a bad decision there with the world's best centre-back left on the bench in Dejan Lovren.
You don't show your cards too early. You've got to save some stuff for the big events. Don't play Lovren against English jobbers. Play him against the cream of the crop in the group at Hampden.
Yes, I actually saw. I actually saw the Czech Republic bus bus outside the Hilton near Glasgow.
Hope you bottled them.
I was nowhere near it, Alan, enough to do so. But even then, was wondering why nothing happened. Then I realised, typical efficient German Wi-Fi. But yeah, is there anyone, Alan, in the Croatia lineup that is a bit of a surprise to you? Is that they're starting?
Not particularly, apart from Verzalko maybe, because in my head he's just perpetually injured. So the fact he's on the team sheet is a little bit of a surprise, in the fact that he's not like done a shoulder in or something. But the rest of it looks kind of what I'd expect from Croatia.
I wasn't really expecting Gvardiol to play first game.
I feel like it's a testing out period more than anything else. Like, you've got 3 games in the group, so you kind of just start going for it. The rest of the squad there, I think he has kind of not the weakest, but like the least experienced in the lineup. So play him against England and see how it goes. You get to, if it all goes down south, which hopefully it doesn't, then you've still got 2 games to try and recover.
Yeah, I think I probably would have gone with Barisic in there, because you've got the threat of Foden coming down that side and cutting in, much like I was talking about with Perisic potentially doing so here. Surely you'd want like the best available defender to deal with that, unless there's a plan that I'm not seeing.
There probably is. I mean, for Foden, with the weird android that he has, you just, I don't know, spray him with water and the circuits break. And just go for there. I just can't get past the pictures of him with his Gaza haircut looking like he's just for Silicon Valley or something.
Yeah, that just, it's just.
He looks like he should be in Blade Runner.
Yeah.
he is a replicant, isn't he?
Yeah. In terms of the bench, obviously we could expect to see Barisic. Ivan Usyk, obviously the only experience I've had of Ivan Usyk is playing him in Football Manager, but
I only get 25 numbers, by the way. So when it says like 23 and he's 26, the third sub keeper is 23.
Yeah.
But he's 26. Just to clear that one up.
The bench has some interesting options, Alan.
I like Petkovic. I think he maybe is like an impact player against England. Could be pretty good coming on.
Yeah,
he's
a big lad, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's for sure. We've got Ivan McGann here already. Ivan McGann, hello Ivan, nice to see you. I knew he'd play Trippier left back. He was bringing 4 left backs for that reason. And now we go to resident England expert who's being called in by someone in the room.
No, I think that was my wife just charging through the door without realising that I'm on.
She's not very happy by Kieran Trippier's start.
Arn, clearly appalled.
Arn, let's talk about it. Come on then. England, I know you're not an actual fan of your home country as much.
Who is an England fan, really?
It's Yobbo, isn't it? It's a bunch of Yobbos. Mike Kilby. Mike's the only nice England fan.
So yeah, let's talk about England. So Pickford, Trippier, Mings, Stones, Walker.
I'll tell you what, this little triumvirate of horror that we have here, I can see them all just running into each other.
Excellent news.
Perisic comes in and scores. I think that's basically what happens there. Mings is, if I'm being polite, unpredictable, which is not really what you want from your central defenders. No, Trippier is playing out of position, which again is not ideal. You probably want someone with more experience in that position to help him out. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that if Maguire was fit, obviously he'd play. But also you've got Pickford, who is not the most reliable keeper. He's not been bad over the past 3 or 4 months.
He's just got tiny little T-Rex arms. It's not his fault. It's just genetics.
Yeah,
I worry about crosses. So if they get this big lad on Petkovic, you imagine him hanging around in here, and all of a sudden Perisic and Rebic are wanging balls into the box for him. He's just gonna bully these lads, and Pickford's got no chance. So that's a concern.
So that's one thing. Let's look at Stones, Mings both have been known to be error prone. Pickford almost killed Virgil van Dijk.
Rest easy, big man.
Rice, Calvin Phillips, Walker. Was Walker already? Walker was always going to be in that position, wasn't he?
Yeah. When I saw Trippier was in the lineup, I went scanning through to see if Saka was playing, because it kind of made sense to me if Trippier was playing that they were going to do this. But that's Raheem Sterling. All the effort in the world is not going to make up for this huge bit of space here. And if they did play like that, that would be troubling, I think, for them. So I think it is accurate that he's going to play at left back. But like I said, when I saw him on the team sheet, my first reaction was, are they playing him ahead of Walker? Because Walker, Stones, and Mings could be a 3.
Yeah.
Okay. There was a comment there by Lucas that I did want to get your thoughts on. Sancho, is he sick? Is Gareth Southgate just not rating him at the moment and not feeling he needs him? What's the thoughts, Aaron?
Hard to say. I mean, they do have options in those positions, so maybe he's just taken a lot of attacking players anyway. If you look at where England is at their strongest, apart from right back, it's very much in the forward positions, and I don't mean like centre forward. I mean like here and here. and here. That's where they have their quality in depth, where there are players in the squad who could slip into these three positions and it wouldn't really damage the quality of the starting lineup, which I don't remember the last time you could really say that about England, probably like 1990. Normally they don't have that kind of quality and depth in the forward positions. So it doesn't surprise me that Sancho misses out, but I mean Henderson's on the bench. I don't think he's fit. I've put him over here in injury corner with Maguire.
I was gonna say they've been left out from almost the squad like they're got COVID.
Yeah,
or something.
I'll pop him over there and Henderson over here. There we go.
One thing I did want to ask is obviously Mount in the position of Mason Mount. Obviously, you had the option there, the battle of Mount versus Mount or Grealish. Do you think Southgate has went with the right decision there?
I don't think it was Mount or Grealish. I think it was Sterling or Grealish, and I think he's playing Sterling for his experience. Although Grealish is 25, he isn't going to get experience at this.
Yeah,
he never plays him.
Yeah, you've got to play to get experience. So if you're not getting played, you're as well just being like, all right, lads, I'm away him.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously he's quite quick going back as well, so it might be a case if he wanted somebody to help Trippier in that respect. Yeah, all right. So Trippier, the only logic I can see behind him playing is set pieces, because he's a good set piece taker.
Okay.
I can't see any other logic in it because he's not going to play a different formation to that. So that does rather beg the question: why didn't he just take James Ward-Prowse and play him somewhere in here?
Calvin Phillips is a bit of a baffling choice for me. When I kind of looked at, because I didn't think I was kind of expecting someone of the likes of a James Ward-Prowse or someone like that to be picked ahead of him, but I don't know.
He had this in mind, didn't he? He wanted this defensive shield in Rice and Phillips.
He wanted the Irishman. He wanted the Irishman, Declan Rice.
Don't start, Shane McAdams.
Hey! He made a right choice there. Just remember, Bertie Votes once tried to phone up the English FA and phone up Wayne Rooney and convince him they had a Scottish canny at one point. That was the one good thing that Bertie Votes attempted to do, other than get us to a playoff where we beat Holland 1-0 and then lost 6-1.
Did Bertie not win us the Kirin Cup?
Yes, he did win this the Kirin Cup, which
I remember. Take that away from him.
I remember waking up and hearing about that and thinking, okay, we won something. I mean, if you look at that Scotland squad that Bertie had, it's the one good thing Bertie has is that he brought in a lot of younger Scottish players, because we were so used to being stuck with old. But then he did also bring in some right wafflers as well. So
that's just every Scotland manager though. Steve Clark has an affinity for Ollie McBurney.
Well, yeah, he loves Oliver the two Ollies, who are absolutely shite. I'm quite glad I can finally say that. Burke and his I remember I went back and I was searching tweets and I was like, okay, I once thought that Oliver McBurney would be Oliver Burke would be the future of the Scotland squad. What the fuck was I thinking? But this I think was the time when he had went to Red Bull Leipzig and you thought, oh, we're on to something here. And then no, he went to Celtic and then went to some Spanish league club and has been absolutely awful. And McBurney's just staunch, so fuck him.
Prison legend Ollie McBurney.
Oh, yeah. To be fair, if a guy in the street is shouting names at you, you are going to kind of maybe one day lose the plot. And
I wouldn't shout names at Ollie McBurney. He looks like a head case.
That's what happens when you're staunch. You look like a head case. Hello, Absolute Boy, which is Lewis, I'm going to assume.
Yeah.
Welcome in. So if we look at, again, we've got to do some kind of coverage of England versus Croatia before if I start talking about Scottish stuff right now, we'll be here for a while. The history of these two teams and kind of recent matchups and stuff like that. I think obviously it was the semi-final, and then I'm pretty sure you guys played each other quite recently as well.
Nations League, I think.
And yeah, the Nations League, or as we like.
Yeah, England won that, I think.
Yes.
Or as we like to call it, Scotland versus Israel and whoever else we get put with.
It's just every international contest.
So it was two. So you lost them 2-1 in the World Cup semi-final. You drew with them. You beat them. And that was the last time. That lineup, if I have a look at it, was Pickford, Chilwell, Gomez, Stones, Walker, Dyer, Barkley, Delph, Rashford, Sterling, and Kane. Croatia had Kalinic, Jedvaj, who I miss. I'm sad he's not there. Lovren, Vida, Vršarko, Brozovic, Modric, Vlasic, Perisic, Kamaric, and Rebic. So if you go back to your board, Arn.
Oh, the board I just took off the screen.
Yeah. Live television, but not TV.
Nothing goes wrong.
So the only differences in that Croatia squad is there's no Jedvaj. The goalie's changed.
Yeah, but I think Livakovic is a better keeper than the one we had.
There's no Vlasic is on the bench this time. The attacking three is the same in essence.
Yeah.
I mean, do you remember? I take it you don't remember anything from that England-Croatia game, Arn?
The one at the World Cup or the Nations League?
The Nations League one.
No, I didn't watch it. How much is the Nations League?
Yeah, exactly.
Excuse me, you're talking to two people whose country basically beckons on qualifying through the Nations League. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I mean, here's the thing: what are your going into this this match? This England side is probably the best with the options available to change the game. Okay. I'm interested. Hello, Durandi969 from Twitch.
I'd have still played a left back at left back. That's maybe I'm too traditional in my thinking of football. But if you've got Chilwell and Shaw on the bench, why the fuck are you playing Trippier at left back?
Like I said, the only thing I can think of is he wants him in there for set pieces. And, yeah, he should have picked a different formation.
Yeah,
it's almost as if James Ward-Prowse is just sitting at home getting ready for his move from Southampton to Aston Villa, just to rile up our friend Blake, who's a massive Birmingham City fan. So, yeah,
well, somebody's got to be, I suppose.
Yeah, well, someone has to. If we look at this though, predictions in terms of scores, I'll go to you, Arn, first.
I've got this down as a draw. That was before I saw the England team, so I'm not. It's going to be.
Your mind?
No, I'm going to stick with a draw. I think the benefits of this England lineup is that they've got these players here who could drop in front of the defence. So when these problems are coming in from the wide areas, they can kind of come across and stop it from happening, and that leaves the centre backs to deal with Kramerich. Where the problems will come is if things change. Petkovic is the one that really worries me, because Modric's ability to get balls into the box is just legendary, isn't it? So like, if he starts playing around down this side and getting balls in, Perisic is decent in the air as well. So you could possibly see him coming over here, maybe them going like that. And Modric getting balls into the box with all three of them coming onto it. It kind of creates problems, especially with Pickford not being great with crosses. That's where I can see a goal coming from.
But remember, Croatia, Modric is old. He's getting old. He's getting on a bit. That's what everyone's been saying. I mean, if you look, obviously, Lucas is making a point there. Obviously, since the World Cup, they have been shit. I am just really glad we can swear on this. It's like it takes all the urge in both me and Arn at certain points to not swear when we do the live shows, and the live like real TV chat shows things. They're very. I mean, if we look at the record of games building up to this. While I do this, Alan, just quickly while I'm searching that up, what was your prediction? Was so you were 1-0?
Yeah, I had Croatia as 1-0, and I think it'll still be 1-0. But in the point that Lucas has mentioned, like you look at Turkey when they were coming into the Euros, they were like shit hot, and then they just shat the bed against Italy. So I don't want to take too much in what the recent form is, because it's players will raise their game for the Euros and whatnot. I still think it'll be Croatia like a narrow 1-0, but I think Croatia's going to bully England for most of the game. Just kind of looking at this, it just feels like feels like this is an England team that in 3 weeks' time the media is going to be slating and Gareth Southgate's going to have to get like police protection because England fans are just going to be pure raging.
I can see why he's done this with the two holding players in midfield, because there is a worry about the way Croatia dominated midfield. I've actually set them back to a 4-4-2 here, but because they could drop to that. But yeah, you've got the likes of Perisic, Kovacic, Brozovic, Modric all really comfortable on the ball. They can tiki-taka that ball around the middle of the park and have Rice and Phillips chasing after shadows for 90% of the game, control the ball. The idea is he's using those players so that the likes of like Foden and Sterling still have some gas in the tank at the end of the game, and obviously there are options off the bench, so
yeah,
it could change.
Durandi 969. So yeah, that comment I was just about to read there. England have been able to perform slightly well under pressure and under stress as of recently. Yeah, a Sterling penalty maybe will happen. Croatia are known for being quite vicious in the defence at points, whether
you've
that's
got to be.
changed over the course of times.
I would have been happier if the name Dejan Lovren was on that team sheet. I think that would have given us a bit of a boost. Obviously, Harry Kane as a penalty taker is pretty reliable. So you kind of, I think you'd be happy if you got a pen. You'd bet on him.
Yeah, I mean, if I've looked at the results, so for Croatia in the build-up, so they lost to Belgium 1-0. They drew with Armenia 1-1. Beat Malta 3-0. Then beat Croatia, lost to Slovenia, a 3-2 loss to Portugal, and a 2-1 loss to Sweden. Their group for the Nations League is quite an interesting one from what I've just seen. Because I think it's Portugal, France, Croatia, Sweden, and Slovenia. Not Slovenia. Portugal. Yeah, those teams. It's a very interesting one. I mean, their manager. We don't know a lot about their manager because it's not Slavan Bilic, so we can't just go, "Oh, Slavan, good man."
It's not the gaffer that ended in prison.
No,
it's only two Croatian managers I know.
It's Zlatko Dalic, who is 54.
Yeah, he was the gaffer at the World Cup, so he's got that experience there. I know what Durandi's saying here, that Croatia could get into the World Cup. Did get into the World Cup final, so they might surprise us as they did during the World Cup. I don't think Croatia winning this game is a surprise at all. It might be a surprise to English people, but to people who actually watch football, it might come as a surprise. But they are that midfield. Those four players that I've got lined up across the midfield there are all world-class players. Yeah. In England's midfield, I think you could probably make a case for Mount, and I think Rice is on the way. Phillips is a grafter. No offense to him, but I don't feel he's on that same level. And there's only three of them. There's four of these guys. If Foden is forced to drop back, I think that decreases the potency of this forward line. Honestly, I don't think Sterling was the right player to pick. I'd rather add Grealish because he can play deeper, but
I mean, out of the squad, and we discussed this on the Arne and Eddie Euro preview. Were there the surprises of the England squad being called up? Saka, I would say, is Saka a surprise?
I don't think so, because Saka can play. Would have actually clicked on the right window. Saka can play like in this position as well as up here. So, I mean, if he was on the pitch instead of Sterling, this formation would make more sense because he can patrol back into these areas. They could potentially do a thing where they swapped him around and Trippier could come over this side, Foden could play over here. It gives you a lot more fluidity. Sterling can't do any of that.
I mean, here's the thing. If we look at it, like Durandi was saying it there, English people always overrate their teams, and then obviously he's got the great defence with Stones at centre back. Stones has made mistakes, obviously, as we saw in the Champions League, and as you went into detail about it, that goal in the final. Why is it that English people always overrate their team? You think what is it in particular that leads people to believe that they
The
are going
press.
to win?
Arrogance.
I think it's the
Okay.
press. I know what you're saying about arrogance, but you get that that's where it comes from. It's from the
Yeah.
press, because it's all or nothing. They're either the best team in the world or they're shite.
Well, do you
There's
remember
nothing in between.
the World Cup group when they had, I think it was the Yanks, Algeria, and Slovenia, and the headlines were just writing it out as it was the easiest group, and they struggled to get out of it.
Yeah.
There he is. Good afternoon. Will we be seeing you drop in and make an appearance, Affers? Restraint from Southgate, as he says. Also love the options of having two keepers on the bench. You're never ever going to, unless suddenly a situation appears where Pickford, tears his quad or something like that. You're never really going to, and then the other goalie tears his quad. You're never really going to need it. It is quite interesting to see, but and no Sancho, yes, no Sancho in terms of that. That again. Is there something wrong with Sancho? Is it a case of he's already feeling like he's got numerous options? We're not sure in terms of that. Hello, Rye, who thinks Croatia's gonna smash.
Croatia's gonna smash.
Yes.
I would not.
The press
wouldn't.
tends to build England up for the fall. Yep.
Yeah.
I think anytime they mention 1966, they immediately, I think, have jinxed them and cursed them.
Oh, you get the front page of the papers all week's been like, come on, England. But the second they're out, like Gareth Southgate will be photoshopped onto a turnip.
Yeah.
That's what the press do.
I want to see that Photoshop so badly.
I kind of want to see him with the. I want to see Gareth Southgate after
good
they lose this time with the bag over his head like they did in the Pizza Hut advert when he missed the penalty. But that's just me.
After saying settle for quarters,
you put round 16, didn't you?
Yeah, I think penalties. I think we'll get out of the group and then run into a penalty shootout, and that's the end of England.
Hey! Don't do that again. You've already had a penalty shootout and you won it at the World Cup, so none of that again. The curse is over. You're good at penalty shootouts now.
A broken clock can be right twice a day.
So we look at the squad and we think of it. And again, I think you're still stuck on your predictions in terms of that. I think Rye saying there, I think round 16 they'll be.
Yeah, that's where I had them going out. I don't think it's going to be difficult to get out the group. But then I think a lot of people are underrating the Czechs because they're not as bad as people going. Czechs will be fourth. I don't think that's
the question I've got for the Czechs is I think the Czechs have got 2 games at Hampden. Which, given that obviously all the stuff with Cadell and everything, how much is that potentially going to affect them if they get, depending on how many, especially like the Scotland games at Hampden, so they're going to get booed to fuck there. But they're playing Croatia at Hampden, and you've got to wonder how many like Scotland fans might have gotten tickets for that. So potentially there's still going to be portions of the crowd against the Czechs, because I can imagine at Hampden at least they'll be getting booed no matter what anytime they touch the ball. So will that throw the players off their game's the big question. If it doesn't, then yeah, they're a pretty scary squad, but it's a mental game then at that point.
So Alan, Arn obviously posted up his predictions for everything about where he felt was going to happen. In terms of these two teams, where do you think they end up?
England go through as the one of the third best placed teams, because obviously Scotland's winning the group. That's a given. Winning every game 6-0. Croatia going second. I know what Alan was just saying about the Czechs, but I think the mental game at Hampden's going to be too much for them. So I think it goes Scotland, Croatia, England in the group. Croatia, probably quarterfinals, but England just get next round and that's it. They get papped out. And then Scotland, not related to the question, but Scotland win the Euros. National holiday when it happens.
As a Scottish person,
when you get out of the group.
Well, yeah,
it's a day off work.
Of course.
As soon as we're out the group and in the round 16, it's a day off for everyone. So yeah,
it'd be like Schalke staying up.
Hey, we got a reference. There we go. And do you think, in all seriousness, even though I know in your heart of hearts you're going to say Scotland, who do you think is going to win the Euros?
Obviously the heart says Scotland. I think logically though it's going to be between Belgium and Italy. I think their path to the final means that they'll play off at some point. So whoever wins out of that game when it happens. that'll be your winner unless something drastic happens. Because Belgium tore the Russians apart, which is what happens when Russia's getting these steroids to go on, and Italy were just too good against Turkey.
And they're booing the knee, so they kind of deserved
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. We've got down here. Rye thinks France or Germany. France is super strong. Belgium looks good too.
Germany are not getting talked about. Germany are here, which is enough reason to be worried about them.
Well, people said that in 2018, and look what happened. Germany were at the World Cup and fell apart.
I think the problem with Germany at the moment is it's in a kind of. I think the team is in a kind of state of not being quite good recently. I mean, don't get me wrong, they beat Latvia 7-1, but then you have the loss to North Macedonia. They draw with Denmark. They edge past Romania. They draw with Switzerland. They're very. I don't know. This team just doesn't look like it's where it should be. I think with the new manager coming in, I would have, I'm thinking it's going to be interesting to see how it goes from there in terms of that. But I think I don't expect them. I personally don't think they'll win. I think something will. They'll get eliminated. But I think when Hansi Flick comes in, I think he'll maybe have a little bit more of kind of, gets enough time, gets the build up. I don't even think, and Lucas can correct me if I'm wrong here. I generally don't even think the pundits in Germany or the journalists in Germany like Joachim Low. So with Hansi Flick though, they're all like, "Oh, we love him, good guy." So I'm assuming Lucas will correct me.
I feel like they think Hansi Flick was the man responsible for all the success that Lowe had when he started, because he was like the assistant. Or he was a coach there, and everything that worked because of him behind the scenes. That was the feeling that I was getting from some of the people in Germany.
Yeah, and someone's phone's going off.
It's my phone. I'm not going to answer
it. Yeah, there we go. As Rice saying, hog the coach position for too long in spite of failures. 2-1 England, but they will lose some other games and thus end second in the group. As we were talking about, finishing first is not a thing England want, Arn. Depending on who they're going to face up against.
I mean, it could be Germany in the round of 16, which or Portugal or France. I don't really want to play any of those in the round of 16, but that's why I've got England going out, because I think they probably will run into one of them.
I've heard a rumor that Rogi belongs in both the bin and or the sea. Can't be in both, so which is it?
I think probably the sea, because it's further away.
Yeah, it's bigger as well. There's more room in the sea.
Yeah, there's more room in there.
Yeah, there's not enough room for the sea. Germany lost 6-0 last November to Spain. Yep. Like, that's the thing. With national coaches, it's like, do you know when it's your time to go and stuff like that? Or are the FA of
he's stayed too long, doesn't he?
But here's the thing: are the FA going to go, well, listen, obviously before they decide to appoint Flick, are they thinking to themselves, well, he's had proven success before in terms of that? Is that going to be, just so we can't really sack him? It'd be very awkward too, or is it just a case of, well, we just need him a little bit more in terms of that? Who is YCW, by the way?
It's someone that, I know them. Don't worry, it's not just some random person that's invaded.
I was about to say,
I was hoping somebody was going to give you some stick in the chat, but
he still will. A bet for Grealish to be man of the match. That'd be good if Grealish came on and became man of the match.
I wouldn't put him past. I wouldn't put it past him.
It's potentially with Grealish. It's maybe a case of they've got him on the bench for the second half as well. If Sterling begins to tire out, or if he's just not doing well, you've got Grealish in your back pocket to throw on rather than show him from the start.
And that's just England, isn't it? They'll just do things. As a Dutch person,
let's get out of the way so you can see the.
There you go.
I got the Van Bastens in the back there.
There's Yao. Hello, Yao. Let's talk about the one group that we've not talked about as much, even though we did talk about them on the preview, since there are two Scottish people here. Let's talk about Scotland, because we are destined to finish
bottom.
third. Fuck off. I'm very glad I can now say how I feel when you make stupid comments, idiot. Um, yeah, Alan. So we were talking about it in the Euro preview. The team looks. We don't have obviously a lot of goals up front.
No.
Uh,
Um,
what did you take from watching the game against Holland and the game against Luxembourg?
so I thought the game against Holland we played far better than I thought we would actually. I thought we'd get pasted that game because it's Scotland. It's what Steve Clark did at Kilmarnock, where it's a good squad that he builds and he gets them playing like a team rather than like a collection of individuals, which I think
Sorry,
as an
hold on,
international team.
just 1 second. I hate to break it to you. Some breaking news here. I've seen quite possibly a hideous image that I've just sent Arn on Twitter.
Oh no!
I am going to send you it as well, Rogie. Please be advised, this image is of a horrible nature.
Oh god!
It's it's
I'm
Progress.
not
It's
putting that
Progress.
filth on it.
It's Progress Wrestling's tweet about the football. They have photoshopped a 1966 photo with Drake Maverick in the holding the World
Spud.
Cup role. Davy Boy Smith, who I don't ever remember being anything to do with Progress. Some random woman, probably a wrestler, no idea who she is. Pete Dunne, William Regal, and Bad News Barrett. It is absolutely disgusting.
I wish Progress would just go away forever, just disappear into the bin.
Just ignore them, they'll go away.
Ever moment we'll talk about wrestling in this program, but my god, it was hideous.
That's enough of that.
So yeah, carry on.
Yeah. So just what I'm saying, like obviously I had Steve Clark managed Kilmarnock for a good, like probably the best year that I've ever followed them. And what he's doing with it took him a while with Scotland, but we're beginning to kind of see it come together in that it's a team that plays like a team, which is what Croatia did in 2018. Rather than you've got a few star players, you've got a collective. I would have maybe dropped John Fleck from the lineup and taken another striker, purely on the basis that I don't think John Fleck's had a particularly great season overall, and it feels like you're rewarding him for getting relegated by taking him to the Euros in place of somebody like Shankland. For the Luxembourg game, it was difficult to get into because Luxembourg just seemed to want to go and kick the players off the team. The fact that we're the team that teams are doing that to now is a good marker of how far we've come as a country, though.
It's a bit of respect, though, isn't it?
Yeah, 10
They're
years
trying
ago,
to kick you off the park.
10 years ago, we were the team that was trying to get kicked.
You're doing the kicking
off the park. So the fact we've come that far, and we're at a national tournament for the first time, 23 years, I think it is.
Yep, Che McAdams with the goal there. Great. It was. I mean, I thought we looked. They were difficult to break down. They were difficult to break down.
My one big complaint was that Lyndon Dykes wasn't doing enough in the Luxembourg game. If you ask me, there was a fair few times when he was kind of caught either out of position or let the ball get ahead him when he could have got to it. So if he tightens that up, I don't think we need to go out and attempt to play beautiful football. We're going to be the team that you hate to watch. We're going to be defensively solid. We're going to be quote unquote boring, but we're going to hopefully get the results that we need.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at with Scotland. But even if we walk away with 0 points, it's still a big party for us because this is the first tournament that we've got to, and then we can go from there and build on that to go World Cup and just kind of show up at the Euros a bit more often than once every 2 decades.
Yeah, not since Craig Brown walked us out in front of Brazil in 1998, where we looked like oh, look at this group, we're completely screwed. But at least we had Coisty and McCauley somehow doing TV shows over in France, and McCoy's not being picked. I think still something that was a bit baffling. But yeah, I think Scotland, for me, I think we'll finish third. We've played Czech Republic before. Yes, we played them when it was their staff. I probably reckon. I think we still have a good chance of giving.
I think we played them once as well. After that, when it was a pretty more full strength side, and we held our own against them.
Yeah, we did. For
the game against the Czechs, we've got the home advantage anyway, so that's going to be a big thing. If it was no fans in Hampden, then but we're going to have fans in Hampden. Obviously, with the 1,000 rules that are in place, they can't breathe without getting a caution for a steward. But it's still that the presence there's enough hopefully to give the players a bit of a kick and be like, come on, we can do this.
Yeah. That's one thing I did want to talk about quickly because Duran was asking for it. Do
Yeah.
we have any quick predictions on the game on the Netherlands against Ukraine tonight? Arn, I'll go with you first.
I've got the Netherlands to win 3-1. They need to, basically, because if they don't start well, the Dutch have a habit of kind of imploding, and the one time they didn't, they won. So I think they need to. I think if they have a bit of a dodgy result against Ukraine, the fans are going to be on De Boer like white on rice.
From what I've heard, and again, Durandi could tell me if I'm wrong here. I think they have been on De Boer for his tactics for quite a while now.
Apparently, they were flying a plane. They got a plane to fly over the training ground, telling him not to play 5 at the back. So that's pretty much the definition of not getting along with the manager. I don't see anyone flying a thing over Southgate's training saying, "Pick a fucking left back, you idiot."
Not yet.
Not yet. Next.
Just wait till after this game.
I'm interested to see. Some of the players that they've got in that squad, the Holland squad, looks, they've got Memphis, they've got Frankie de Jong, De Ligt. I hope that this is a coming out kind of tournament for the likes of Owen Winjal, or Ryan Gravenberch, or obviously Daniel Malen. They do have some good players. I remember I said in our preview, I hope this is a tournament where Donny van de Beek does well, and then Donny van de Beek
Injured.
out of the tournament. I think I don't know. I mean, when they played us, we were kind of quite up for account of ourselves in that game. But when I saw them against Georgia, they were just very, very good. And he did play 5 at the back. The plane that flew over.
Frank just do 4-3-3.
Oh, I mean, if you look at Frank de Boer's coaching career as well, if we look at that, he has had.
He did bits at Ajax, and then he got picked up by Inter Milan. That did not work out well, and his rebound job was Crystal Palace, and he was bad at that. So
and then he end up at Atlanta.
Yeah,
that's where he went after he got binned off by Crystal Palace. He ended up coaching in MLS, and now he's the Dutch manager. So that's basically your path to success.
I did enjoy that when Mourinho was asked. I think he described De Boer as the worst manager in the history of the Premier League, and I'm pretty sure that was for I think his comment. I think he made some kind of comments on Rashford or something like that. He only lasted 5 games. It was pretty clear he was he's just. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like because the manager, who did he replace to be the manager of Holland? Was it Advoc? I'm gonna assume Advocat because Advocat.
I think it might have been Advocat.
And I mean, here's the thing: this Dutch side, where has it started? We've only got 8 minutes before kickoff. Durandi saying no, not Advocat. That's a shock for me.
It was Koeman. He went to Barcelona.
Oh yeah.
Okay. If Durandi wants to tell us, I'm kind of curious. Where has this with the Dutch side? What has kind of happened with it? Where did it kind of start to slowly kind of go off the rails? Because I mean, if we look at it, they've done. I mean, obviously they didn't. They were 3rd place in 2014 in the World Cup. Then didn't qualify for Russia. Didn't qualify for 2016 in France. I'm just kind of curious.
I think they lost Nigel de Jong then, and he was just good for just putting folk in the chest.
That sounds typically Nigel de Jong. I'm just kind of curious as to where it went wrong. And obviously, especially when their keeper Citizen tested positive for COVID, so now they've got 38-year-old Stecklenburg and Tim Krul.
Falkirk hero Tim Krul.
Falkirk, yeah. I've realised that Tim Krul played for Falkirk, and Kasper Schmeichel played for Falkirk at one point as well.
Did Tim Krul really play for Falkirk?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tim Krul played for Falkirk. So did Kasper Schmeichel.
of
They
Scotland.
both went on
Yeah.
loan.
They had a short period they were getting like good goalkeepers in on loan, and then just Falkirked it.
Yeah, it's a very interesting. Yeah, it's just. It is what it is. Right, we're about 5 minutes away from watching England hopefully get battered by a small, tiny man named Luka Modric.
Don't forget old. He's an old tiny man.
Old tiny man, yep, as they like to keep calling him. He's old. I think we've got 47 subscribers on the old YouTube.
Get 3 more.
Get 3 more, and we get to 50.
More, get
Can
to
we do
50.
it? Oh, 1 more. We are 1 more subscriber away from the 50. They thank you for telling. Basically, it happens every country. You start losing your talents, so you focus on training the young talents. This leads not being able to qualify for some leagues, but eventually perform really well. As happened eventually won World Cups, yep, and lost. And lots of young talent. So okay, so it's basically a case of Van Persie and that have buggered off, and then they've like, right, we need to kind of get the bleed in the youngsters into
the team at the moment is basically Ajax from 2 years ago.
Well, yeah,
with a few players added in.
Yeah, Wijnaldum off to PSG because Barca took too long with the negotiations.
Mercenary.
Yeah, well,
I don't really blame them though, because Barca's in a weird position just now where they've got like no money, but they're still trying to sign players. So I'm guessing like they spent like a month trying to come to demands, and PSG obviously have got a whole blood diamonds worth of money behind them. So like it was just like 2 seconds. I can see like they're supposed to be trying to get Depay as well at Barca, but I think he'll end up going elsewhere.
yeah.
I think Marlon is a good shout. Like, like from outside, people are looking at that Dutch team and thinking where are the goals going to come from, and thinking they're going to be more reliant on Depay. But Marlon's got a chance to really cement his name in this tournament.
I mean, they've got
get that starting place.
I mean, what do we expect the starting? I mean, if they go for 2 up front, or however they've kind of been playing, you'd think it would probably be like De Jong and Depay, or maybe Weghorst and Depay, or maybe something like that.
I think De Jong and Weghorst are basically the same player, aren't they? So that's
booing of the national anthem is just low class. Not too surprised, but this is bad. You see, your CW friend is basically Barca probably can't even say what they do and don't have now financially. I pretty much think Barca are basically the team that is like that Steve Carell The Office meme where he just shouts, "I declare bankruptcy," but they still somehow carry on.
Yeah,
because their
it'll be interesting to
finances,
see.
yeah, their finances are just probably out of the wildness here.
so
they should've just
because we're
like
watching this on iPlayer, we are going to be slightly behind some of you in the chat. So don't go goal at some point because that's just going to be annoying.
People are now going to bloody do that, which I'm fine with because I just won't believe them. I'll just look at private chat and then move on.
So the anthems are currently, but feel free to tell us because we can't have the sound on. Are they booing the anthem? I mean, presumably.
What anthem?
The Croatian anthem, because they are currently lining up, and I can see them, but I can't hear them.
The only one I want is just
I'm seeing
the loud people shouting Italia.
Seeing on Twitter that they were booing the Croatian anthem.
Okay,
that's nothing new, is it?
No,
it
just makes it even better when they get hammered.
Okay. What's the said now? What's do try to use the flanks if possible. You almost never see him attack from center. Passing back and forth, and the defense trying to find an opening and take that flank as quickly as possible. Take a chance at goal.
That's why I think De Jong will have a decent tournament because I think he's going to get on the end of some of this service into the box.
I'd like to see Depay do well. I think Depay is kind of a shoe-in for a move a la Kevin Prince Boateng to Barcelona randomly out of nowhere.
Yeah, but I mean, they're both musicians as well, so maybe it's just a trend that's happening.
Barca just need all that Just need all those musicians. You look at his career, Kevin Prince Boateng, and you think it's just as wild as.
Jeez. So I'm just watching the lineups, and they're panning across, and Mings is standing next to Foden. He's like a foot taller than him. Either I didn't realize Foden was that short, or I didn't realize Mings was that tall. But there's a huge difference in height there.
People should realize that when the cameras see that they turn to them and then they realize that they are on camera, the camera is going to take them off and move on to somebody else. I love when they do this whole, we're on camera.
Oh, we're on camera.
Oh, people were, who the fuck has got a Gareth Southgate face mask? Jesus wept. There it is, Wembley Stadium. Never been to it at all. Never been in it, actually.
I've been in old Wembley. I didn't actually go and watch a game. I went to watch Aerosmith play.
I was going to say, was that not when Don Hutchison scored against England at that point? Your favourite Don Hutchison?
It was near the basically Wembley was falling down when I went to it, and I'm not surprised they knocked it down like shortly after that.
You should never be surprised by what that happens in terms of it, you know.
So BBC's got Foden on the left, Sterling on the right. I think it's the other way around, but we shall see.
I mean, so let's have a wee look there. Okay. England. They're going to lose. Come on, Modric. You're tiny man, but you're old as well. Referee's Italian?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, God, we're going to lose.
Can't wait. They were doing a whole let's go, 1, 2, 3, let's go, hands in, everybody. There's Football Manager legend, Livakovic.
Livakovic, he's really good, isn't he?
Yeah, I
keep forgetting Vida looks like a bad guy from a medieval film.
I was gonna think. I was thinking to myself
stuck out in Turkey.
I like Dazin Rogi's Croatia Ultras. He's getting a shout out on Twitter. When is Thunderverse out? Is that for you, Alan?
It is, yeah. That's never.
Is this
been
your
announced.
TW people coming in?
Maybe. I'm bringing the crowd.
Okay, go on then. Answer your question. When is Thunderverse coming out? There we go.
When I feel like
There's
it. We're here for football, not for anything else.
Do you think there are viewers who hear Southgate and don't immediately think about that penalty miss, Arn?
Well, a lot of the younger ones probably just know him as the waistcoat. So maybe. Vida looks like Christian. I don't think he does.
I thought Vida looked like the bad guy from Die Hard 1.
I was thinking, did they boo the knee, by the way? I'm seeing applause.
Can anyone give us a bit of an update? Are they booing the knee? I don't know.
I can't listen.
Yeah, we're being really a few boos from a few idiots, but players hear them drawn out by applause. So there we go. I was watching Denmark versus Finland live on television. Oh, hold on. I am definitely one of the TW people, but I did meet you very briefly at the XWA Kotabushi show, Eddie. I don't expect you to remember. Oh my god. Hello. I'm very. It was a fun time. Me and my friends snuck in McDonald's when we weren't allowed to. Yes, I'm very happy for Christian Eriksen. I hope it's as me and said yesterday. There's going to be an episode we're going to do where we're going to talk about footballers' health and safety after a tweet by Asmir Begovic. I do not expect how. I don't. We've got a World Cup coming up in a country where the heat is.
Oh, it is hot as fuck in that country.
I know that Gundogan as well has mentioned it before on Twitter about how many games that players are about to be expected to play, and it's getting to a ridiculous stage where effectively you're going to athletes being in about 2 or 3 prime years, and then after that everything's just done for them because they'll be expected to play so many games without a break. Like, even you look at American sports like baseball, basketball, ice hockey, they all have a substantial off period or off season that football just doesn't have. And without something like that coming into place, it's going to just.
It's not even that they need a longer time off. it's a case of the demands are ridiculous. Like when the English season starts, it's like we have a game immediately, and then there's a midweek game, and then there's another game, and then it's League Cup starts, and that does not stop until maybe it snows in January and they get a game off, but then they've got to make it up later.
Exactly.
There's too many teams in the big divisions. There's too many competitions.
Yeah, I know that France is, as of the 2023-24 season, they're cutting the league down to 18. And I imagine there's going to be arguments for similar to happen, but especially like England, when we take into account how much money you get just for finishing in 20th in the top league.
Yeah,
it feels like that argument or that will never happen because the argument will be too strong.
As there's the plane with Frank de Boer's flag currently flying over somebody's house.
Yeah, that's me as well. It's not normally as raucous around here. In quite a peaceful area.
There was a thing that Duran said there, and if I keep getting your name wrong, I'm sorry. I just see Duran. I feel like older footballers should do health checks more often. I think that's something that's probably should be implicated with the medical
Ericsson's
staff.
not even that old.
Yeah, he's only 29. Yeah,
I wouldn't even say that was old.
It depends on obviously what you take as a football age in terms of that as being old, I guess. But it's something that I think they should do health checks just all the time. The good thing is obviously we do have at these grounds you have medical staff and you have ambulances there already in terms of that. So it's good to kind of see. But I do get obviously where he's coming from. If it's an older player, then yes, of course, by all means. But again, aged health unfortunately sometimes doesn't always take your age into consideration. Croatia here. Oh, I was like, I went back. I hadn't been watching any of the game, which sounds really bad since we're doing a watch over, and I completely forgot that Croatia were the ones in black, and I was like, oh.
It's a really nice top though.
I'll be honest, lads. I've just been enjoying the chat.
Good save.
Good save from a thing that was already stopped. Well done, Jordan.
Safe hands, Pickford.
It hit the ref.
Lovely touch from the ref there. Excellent control.
Touch.
I think there's the thing for the Euros as well. Like, so far, some of the kits have been like absolute dire. I know Puma's away template.
Yeah, I didn't think the kit standard was very good, to be honest.
But Finland's kits are really nice. I like both of them.
Yeah.
Here we go. The white one with the kind of two-tone blue cross was just beautiful stuff.
I like Slovakia's shirt. I like Belgium's. I don't normally like red kits, but they've got a nice sort of black thing going across up here and then lower down as well.
I think Italy's kit looked nice as well. I like the white.
That's just a classic, isn't it? The Italian kit.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Italy are just really stylish.
Here we go.
Oh! Hit the post, Foden.
Foden already channeling Gaza like.
You'll notice he's on the right wing as well, which means I was right and BBC were wrong. Just like to point that out.
Yeah, one for the arms, always right folder.
Yep.
Yes.
This is why you should be tuning in.
Very small folder based on the prediction league.
Based on the prediction league that you'll be slowly seeing an exit from if you don't get your arse in gear. Right, okay, so that's the first major opportunity so far for England.
Yeah, I feel like Foden is the main threat for England, and I don't want to make the Gascoigne comparison, but he's done his hair, so it's kind of hard not to.
What a bad pass there. And
I feel like
a
part of me wonders if there's going to end up being a case where there's maybe too much pressure getting put on Foden. The same way I feel like I obviously wasn't alive when Gaza was in his prime, but I don't know if the media is relentless with Gaza, but it feels like Foden's constantly talked up as like the great English hope.
Gaza, it was absolutely non-stop. But Gaza had some demons away from the game. If Foden's got his head screwed on right, he's a confident boy and he's very talented. So
have a look at that.
Close.
Oh,
very close that was.
Damn, you guys are way behind. Yes, we are. So thank you for probably telling us that something may have happened.
Austria away kit's amazing, apparently. But yeah, we are
I like-
probably about a minute and a half behind.
So yeah.
But it's the
I
only way
think-
we can get it all synced up.
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise we're all just watching different things and someone's hearing something from somebody else. So we do appreciate it if you want to tell us something. It's happened in the game, that's fine. Especially if it's Croatia scoring. That was another thing.
Yeah, I'm not really looking at the chat at the moment. I'm kind of
I
watching
said
the
I'm
game.
putting on private chat for the moment as well. So Austria, yeah, I was Austria with their big target man. Sasha or Sasa.
Sasa Kalajic.
Be
Yeah.
interested to see how Austria played today.
I'm really looking forward to that game, actually. I feel like it's one of those games that flies under
Oh,
the radar.
Is he on?
but-
Is he on? Oh,
But it's North Macedonia's first tournament. So I feel
really
like
should have
there's the
scored that.
same kind of opportunity for them as like Finland and Scotland.
Yeah.
And if people think that Modric is old, just wait till they get a copper 37-year-old Goran Pandev.
Can't wait to get a cop of him.
I think
So I
I'm
assume
very
it's a
interested
corner,
in Goran Pandev. Yes, corner. England starting off a bit brighter here. Croatia
Yeah,
are
well,
just trying to do all they can.
As I was saying, the one positive about this England squad is they do have a lot of good attacking options. So they're going forward is probably the best way to go. Oh,
And there's Livakovic with a good save.
My boy.
Livakovic is one of these keepers that give it 2 years, he'll be in like one of the elite sides in Europe.
I feel like the same's a lot for a fair few of that Dinamo squad. I'm actually surprised there's not been more rumours of players moving between them after the drubbing they gave Spurs in the Europa League. But yeah, definitely Livakovic will be in a top 5 league within the next couple of years.
I think
Like-
Livakovic and the Turkish keeper Kakir, they'll both be in top
think-
teams, I reckon.
As well for Livakovic, it might be a case that Dinamo might not be demanding too big a transfer fee for him, because I feel like that's how they'll make their money anyway. They'll probably like a transfer fee plus a sell on. So he's not going to go for like 50 or 60 million.
Yeah, you
So-
get it for like 20, 25, something like that.
Which is, for a
2025.
good keeper, it's really a great price for a good keeper.
Oh, 2 comments. Let's see what they've said.
Yeah, I kind of wanted Everton to go after him when what's his face was having a shocker.
Oh,
You need a manager
think-
first before you can sign him, do?
Yes,
you think
well,
maybe he would replace you'd think maybe he could like replace Lloris if the rumours obviously Lloris has been wanted by Spurs, not Spurs, wanted by Roma. So Jose's been kind of apparently been
I love how Mourinho is going to become Mourinho's Roma is going to be like a dumping ground for all the Premier League players. Like Inter's been getting a lot of old Premier League players in recent years. It just feels like
But,
Serie A is turning into what the Premier League was when the Premier League started to get players coming in. So they get players like kind of at the tail end of their careers. I really like Serie A at the moment.
Inter's been signing players that are kind of still relatively in their prime. Roma's looking at signing like Granit Xhaka and Hugo Lloris. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a unique brand of football awfulness that Mourinho brings these days.
Oh yeah.
Since you're here and I know what team you support in Italy, we might as well talk about it. I take it you've heard and seen the rumours of
Buffon to
coming
Parma.
home.
Yeah, it's a strange one. I'm in 2 minds about it. One, because I think it would make managing Parma and Football Manager a little bit easier. And 2, I feel like I really like Luigi Giuseppe as he stands. I don't think it was his fault necessarily that Parma ended up where they were. Obviously, Buffon's he's a great keeper regardless what age he is. But having watched Parma go down and then watched Kelly go down with an aging squad, I feel like my team should be going for younger squads. I don't know if a 42-year-old Buffon would necessarily be the way I'd be looking, but I might be wrong. I might be in an island in that one.
I mean, he'll be. I mean, if he's still good enough and he's able to kind of orchestrate your midfield still, your defense still, I wouldn't see it as a bad thing. If it's a year and then gets you back into the Prem, gets you back into Serie A, then yeah, of course, I'd probably say have it. And then obviously, it's always good to switch about, but it really all just depends on what he's actually going to be there to do.
Yeah, if he's there as
Um,
kind of not an always starter, and he's obviously there to share like a wealth of experience with the players. But I wouldn't be. It's not something I'd be looking at starting every single game.
yeah, I mean that's the thing, isn't it? It just depends on obviously what they're going to do.
Talking about the current game for a moment, it's interesting to me that Croatia haven't been able to get their passing going, and I think that's kind of credit to the formation Southgate's gone for, is that he wants to break up the passing in the midfield. That's why you had those two holding players, and it's basically working. So everyone calling Southgate a clown before the game, kind of wrong. But there you go.
You've still got a fair bit of the game to go before you can fully go there.
Like Croatia,
No, I mean, obviously tactics will change over the course of 90 minutes, but the way that he's set up was with Croatia in mind, whereas I think everyone that has been commenting on it has seen it as like, but this is how I want England to play, not what are Croatia going to do, because everyone in the country's ignored Croatia apart from Gareth Southgate.
Well, yeah. I mean, someone has to focus on them. I mean, it looked like for a minute there.
You've got to be a complete dipshit to ignore the opposition at a major tournament.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
which is what most England fans are.
I mean, it looks like Croatia were just trying to find themselves out again there with just a couple of passes that seemed to be getting completed, and then...
So Ryan's got a question. If Walker didn't have an electric pace, where do you think his level would be? Bogner Regis, probably.
Who? Who's this?
Kyle Walker.
He'd make a great backup keeper somewhere.
He'd make a great post in training. You could just have him stand there because he's quite solid.
As Ivan McGann has said, as far as Jose signing, Xhaka is more of a Matic to United more than Hjulberg to Spurs. Yeah. I mean, someone was telling me, a friend of mine, when I said Xhaka is an absolute liability, and I think he has been for quite some time, an absolute liability. I think Arsenal, he's like one of the persons that most successful passes into the opposition's half in the entire Premier League. Easily our most important player this season. You didn't get European football. He tried to choke somebody.
Fell out with the fans.
I just had a message from work saying this is absolute fucking carnage.
What, ours or this?
Like my shoot job.
Oh,
absolute fucking carnage.
Croatia look like they are. Oh no, never. I mean, yeah, I just think Xhaka going is just something that needed to happen. I think Arsenal doing, as I said, Arsenal are going to have to go through an entire rebuild, this season, which is no surprise because I think it's just what Arsenal seem to need.
A long time coming for Arsenal, though. They've kind of been trying to patch up that side, and they just need one, they need a coach that isn't an action man, and two, they just need the squad to kind of be completely overhauled.
You better put some respect into your opinion about Mikel Arteta right now.
Absolutely not.
Right, I'm kicking him out.
well, bye. Lucas has wrote something in German.
Thanks, Lucas.
Yes, Lucas.
Don't agree with that.
I don't know. That would be.
Ryan has pointed out that Xhaka will benefit from the slower pace of Serie A. The games I watched in Serie A last season were significantly quicker paced than they used to be.
Oh, free kick here for England.
Did you say England?
England, yeah. That's all we fans want about England. Bye, Calvin. Sit down. Bye, Calvin. Just sit down there, pal. This is where Kieran Trippier comes into effect, isn't it?
Oh, yes. We're in the Trippier zone.
I'm very excited for when he misses this, and I can say James Ward-Prowse wouldn't have. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. This is the first time we've done something like this, so It's quite fun. We will keep Alan and Alan. Normally other people kind of say, well, we're going to kick out and swap people. And as much as I would love to do that, I think you're just too nice to stay. You're too nice to leave or be asked to
Too
leave.
nice to stay.
Too nice to
stay, too nice to leave. One of the above. If anyone else wants to come in and join, please message Arn. He will send you the link, and you can come in and tell us what you think. Maybe at halftime we'll get some people if you want to come in. And you can have had Herdecki on my bench in fantasy. Hopefully, really hope Krul doesn't play today. Oh,
I think from what I was talking to folk, is I think a fair few people have got Hideki in the bench because he was the cheap option.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
then he goes and turns into like the biggest super villain of the tournament so far, saving a penalty in the game where it realistically should have been a draw.
Yeah, he got like 13 points in that first game. I have Donnarumma as my goalkeeper. He got 6. So
yeah. I mean, if we're to look
I
at
think
the
I've
Arn
actually
League,
now that I think I've got Livakovic as my starting keeper. So what about that until this moment?
as a fantasy team goes, Cancelo tested positive for COVID and was replaced by Dalot in the squad. Really enjoying the banter, says Paul Cox as well. My God, I don't think we're having any banter. It's just in my head, I just think we're all just looking awkwardly at each other.
Well, I'm looking awkwardly at you because you're so sunburned.
Fuck off. Fuck off.
No, fuck, I made Chesney my starting keeper.
I put Donnarumma. If we look at the Euros squad, I'm going to have a wee look on the phone here while I do so on the in the Arn Neddy League, which is just me and Arn. This fucker who had
Am I winning?
Verratti. Yeah, you're ahead by
Oh,
you've got 35 points. I've got 26. By the way, I have a great fantasy football team name, Cellini con Carne. Thank you, Alan 4L, for shouting that out on Twitter. I thought that creating my own league would help me win it. I'm currently 51 in my own league. Mike Edge is ahead with 60 points.
Mike Edge is going to come unstuck. I was looking at his defense.
I think whoever wins, we need to get them on the show and tell them what they were thinking. Whole Demon Army. So it's quarters at best, Mike Edge. Whole Demon's Army in second. And Chris fucking Linne with his bench warmers in third. And then Cookie Monsters Cookie Monsters is tied with him. And then a guy called Max with laser beams. And there's a good name called
I
Cancelo
love Cookie Monsters. That is a great team name.
There's a good name there, Cancelo Culture.
Currently sitting 101st in the Arn and Eddie League with 2 points to my name. So
how many how many's in the league?
108. 109.
Yeah, Ryan had Lukaku as captain. That was me as well. That's why I'm ahead of Eddie.
There's a guy who's got a name saying only here to be Eddie. That's Gary. He can fuck off. Yeah.
I love how all of Eddie's swears are pouring out now. He's allowed to.
Oh.
Oh, he's trying to dink it.
So yeah, as we were going to, McGann with the news there. As we've not talked about it. Cancelo out with COVID, being replaced by Dalot. Arn, I think you were mentioning it on your Twitter. I think you said it was going to be a bit difficult for Portugal now, or it's a very much a massive.
Yeah, well, they're probably going to play Nelson Semedo at right back with Cancelo out, but that is, for me, that's a downgrade. Cancelo is one of the best fullbacks in the tournament for my money. There's him and like Rafael Guerreiro, who's the left back for Portugal. Mm-hmm. Those are two of the best attacking fullbacks anywhere in the Euros. So it's a big loss them losing the right side of that because they could have caused problems down both flanks. And now I think they're less likely to.
Yeah. Ivan McGann, he pepped it with his team. So Insigne and Jota, that's a poof.
In midfield? What? That's not midfield.
If Scotland wins the group, I want to see Eddie do a coochie jab. Here's the thing. I'll happily take, because we are not winning this. I'm not like Alan. Alan has delusions of grandeur, and I love him to bits. We're finishing third in that group at best, or second if we can somehow get something out of Croatia. I don't think we're going to win the group, and I don't want to win the group because if we win the group, we're going to get humped in the round 16. You see who we get if we win. we get either one of France, Germany, or whichever one's in that group, isn't it?
Yeah, France, Germany, or Portugal, or Hungary if they manage to upset the apple cart and sneak into second, but that's pretty unlikely.
Yeah, I was pretty sure that Rogi was paused there, or had disappeared. So yeah, unfortunately, Alan is disappeared. He'll be back in.
Oh, Alan's disappeared.
Internet's went out. He'll be back. So it's just unfortunately it's us again. If you'd like to come and join us, so there's more of us, and you're in the chat, please send Alan. Send Arn a DM. Let's chat to you. I want to chat to people. Like, I mean, I don't know if we'll ever speak to Ivan McGann, but you know, Lucas is there doing nothing. Rian is there. You know, come on and join us. While I'm doing that, Gareth Southgate is on screen.
He was looking tentative. To be honest, it's been a good start by England, but anyone that's got raving about how good they are after 20 minutes is, well, a bit deluded.
England,
but it's been a good start.
Yeah, I mean, Croatia are very. Oh, I don't. Is it? Have they given a foul? No, they haven't.
Okay.
I think Croatia have just looked very tentative.
Croatia. Their main problem is that they haven't been able to replace Mario Mandzukic, so they don't have a focal point in their attacks. They've got three very similar kind of players in the forward positions. And while that is quite helpful for them for rotating them around to keep things fresh and kind of unpredictable, it's is that a free kick?
Is that free
no.
kick? No.
Wow.
And you said you didn't like the Italian ref.
Well, I like him now. No protection at all for Modric. That's ideal. So I hear this against the runner play. Yeah. Oh, you can see it, Kat. You can see it coming.
It'd be very funny if that happened. I don't think it will, but
yeah, I mean, I'm a firm believer in there's only one important statistic in football, and anyone who keeps bringing up, we've had 80% of the possession but lost. That's not the important statistic. The important statistic is in the top left-hand corner. It's the scoreline.
Is that a throw-in? Is that
you can have 500 shots and not score, but if you have one shot and you win 1-0, you've still won. And nothing else matters.
Well, unfortunately, if that is how Alan had to go, then I'm very glad we got to speak to Alan for a bit. It's now just me and you having to carry this show on our backs. But then it's the Arnet experience, so it's what it is.
Let's see if we can get Lucas in.
Okay, let's see if we can get Lucas. While I'm doing this, Croatia having an interest. Oh, Croatia love the crosses, but that cross was to absolutely fucking nobody. It's number 25 there with that cross in. Foden, I'm still baffled by this here choice, and they're going back showing
he's doing the classic Gaza.
Oh god,
from Euro 96. Oh, if he flicks it over one of your centre backs and volleys it into the corner,
I can tell you right now,
we've got a Lucas coming in, so we're going to get. I love the fact that he's got Germany in his name as well. So let's bring Lucas in.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Lucas.
There he is.
Got the jersey as well. Hey guys.
Oh, hey Lucas.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hey, look, it's our resident Schalke fan.
Yay! Let's do another Schalke bashing. Woo! No, the funny thing is we just had our I apologize before, English is not my first language, so it might take a while to find some words.
English isn't mine either, Lucas, so we're okay.
We just had a gathering where all the members of the club come together to vote and stuff, and because of Corona, it was all online, and the voting didn't work, so we just said, let's try it again another time.
Wasn't that the approach to last season for Schalke?
Basically.
So I guess while the game is still at hand, obviously, I think we should talk a little bit about Schalke. The plan is to have you on as a guest properly to talk about it, but we'll do a quick, brief discussion on it. What's happening with your club? What is happening with your club?
A lot, like really a lot. Like just I think yesterday or the day before. Yeah, I'm
Sorry.
a bit ahead of you guys, so I already saw that. But I try not to spoil anything.
Yeah, try not to react to anything. If
Um,
that come to Perisic's left foot, that was a problem.
just 2 days before the head of a board just said, "Yeah, fuck it, we'll be going as well." After everybody else basically left, so now we had some important votes coming up, but now it's not just about who's going to join him on the board, but who's going to be the head of the board. And the biggest problem of it, before there's the vote, the current board can decide who gets up for election, and basically they blocked everybody who was good and put on everybody who was shite. So there's no hope, basically.
Who's the man? Have they got a manager in charge to lead the charge around to try and get you back up?
Manager's the Gramotzes, like the last 5 or 6 games we had in the Bundesliga. He basically came in so that we could say, oh, here's a guy for the future. Let's burn him in the last 5 games because our team is shit. And then we will fire him after the second game in the next season, like this year, basically.
So I take it the Christian Gross experiment didn't work as well as you hoped. Someone hoped it would.
Yeah, he basically just got the job because the then sporting director knew him from his time in Stuttgart, and that was, I think, 12 years ago. And that was the last major coaching job Gross had until Schalke. He was in like Saudi Arabia or something, but that was also 2011.
Noted league of high quality.
Yeah, so he basically, there was a revolt of the players against him because he didn't know shit. He didn't do any special training. He just said, "Oh, yeah, go run some laps. We do some shots, some corners, some free kicks, and it's done."
What else do you need?
He didn't know the name of the players, like not doing press conferences.
You with the hair.
What's your number?
He had names, but they were all wrong. Like there was one famous example. I can't remember. I think he called Alessandro Schöpf. He called Massimo Schöpper or something like that. So like he knew the names, but he created his own versions of them.
Sorry, that and the Kyle Walker pass that I've just seen is
that Kyle Walker pass.
Hilarious. What on earth is he doing?
Oh, he's such a muppet.
He doesn't look awake.
He is such a muppet.
So yeah, you were saying obviously. So the Gross experiment didn't go well.
No.
And then obviously you've got the guy in to kind of now try and help you back up.
Yeah.
In terms of, since obviously we're on about Euros and we don't want to down you too much with Schalke stuff. What has been the kind of overgoing thoughts in Germany about the Euros and the squad?
Well, the thoughts in Germany are basically we can't wait for Flick to take over.
Okay.
Because nobody believes in Löw anymore. And after we the loss against Spain was bad. No discussion there. But way worse was the defeat against North Macedonia.
Yeah, we were talking about it. Yeah.
The Spain game was a big discussion, but like those games can happen. The squad was the decent one, no like bench players or something, but they just had a shit day. But then you lose against Northern Macedonia, where the only basically player people know is Goran Pandev, and then you just don't have any excuses left.
And did you think there was like was there going to be like an inquisition about kind of the squad and the national team kind of set up after the North Macedonia loss, or was it just a case of it's a blip, it won't happen again, we'll probably, we'll regroup enough and probably be good enough to have a good challenge in the Euros?
No, basically all the general feeling was, okay, we have to endure one more Löw tournament. We might get out of the group stage if you're lucky. Then we, I don't know, bail out in the quarters or something. If you're lucky.
I like the use of the word endure.
and then if Flick's taking over, we will have a fresh start.
Okay.
And the thing is, the only thing Löw really did was bring back Hummels and Müller, which was necessary, but which undermines the whole last years of his job, basically, because he said, okay, now we have a fresh start, no more Boateng, no more Hummels, no more Müller, and then they basically took a vacation for the qualifiers and the Nations League, and
Then
just
rolled back in.
okay, the Euros, now we're back for the important stuff.
It's like the last. It's like almost the last dance, almost without the 6 tournament titles beforehand or something like that. Do you? Here's my question for you. Would you rather have had Flick start now, or would you rather have? Would you still think, right, let's go with Flo for this one and just give him this tournament because he's?
It's a
when
tough
was
question.
the decision that Lo was not carrying on?
He made the decision, I think, in February or March, where he said he's not going to keep. Like, he wasn't even fired. He just said, "I'm leaving." So because he had a contract till I think the 24 Euros, and then he just said, "Nah, I'm not going to do this shit anymore," which is fine for everybody because we don't want to live anybody anymore. And well, he's probably just relaxing and somewhere near Freiburg, and having the time of his life. Or maybe he's going to join. I don't know. Who's still in search of a coach? Tottenham.
Well, we don't know who's going to be the Tottenham coach yet. Goodness me.
Maybe it's Löw.
Maybe it's. Do you think? Do you think? Do you expect to see Low in kind of you not international football? Do you think he would land quite well? Could you expect to see a job in the Bundesliga, or would it have to be abroad?
He's been in internationals for so long. It must be a difficult transition back to.
He's not going to the Bundesliga. Definitely not. If some international club wants to take a chance of him, he might take it, but I don't think he will. I think he would just maybe he would take another national job somewhere, like doing some development work.
England. I'm sorry.
No. I was thinking more like I was thinking he was maybe doing the Klinsmann route and doing something like USA, Canada, China, something like developing a team from
something that pays well,
basically
with less pressure.
Is that what?
Well,
he's good at?
he earned a lot of money with his coaching job and also his sponsorship deals. He and Jurgen Klopp are all over German television, basically.
That was one thing. Is he his kind of time? So when he started, when the Low era kind of started in Germany, how was that? Was it perceived as? Because obviously he was the assistant first, wasn't he? And then he moved on. Then obviously when was it Voller who left, or was it who left again? It was someone who left.
Klinsmann.
Well, Klinsmann left, and then it was Lau. What was the kind of beginning thoughts of his time as the German manager?
Well, in the first place, he was like, it was just a natural fit because everybody was just thinking, yeah, well, Klinsmann did the talking, but the real mastermind was Löw during the 2006 World Cup, which was basically true. Then he had a good Euro run in 2008, which was fine, but not like the type of German football you saw the tournaments afterwards. And the shift came during the World Cup in South Africa, where we had to replace Ballack, and we had Neuer in goal for the first time in a big tournament. That was the big major shift, basically, where Khedira and Özil and Müller started to really grow as the main focus of the team. And then we played some really good football, but we didn't get the results. Like we were doing good, but everybody was just measuring up like he has to win a title, because we didn't win a title since the Euros in '96. And until he got that World Cup in 2014, everybody was just measuring him on that. Then he had 2 good years after the win, because everybody, okay, he got us the World Cup. He's good. He will get us probably maybe he will get us the Euros as well. And then he did some really questionable managing during the Euros and especially afterwards, and it basically just went downhill.
Yeah, and I mean, in terms of looking at the squad that he's picked, were there any surprises for you in terms of that, people who'd been missed out or people he hadn't called up?
Not really surprises. There was a bit of a disappointment that we didn't have like a really good right back. There's Riedler Baku from Wolfsburg, who would have been perfect for the spot, but he played the under 21s.
Okay.
So and he also, I think he's supposed to play the at the Olympics. So they wanted to leave him there until after the Euros is finished, and then bring him back up because he had 2 or 3 games and he was really good for Germany then. And now we have Klostermann on the right, we have Can, and we have Kimmich, who is, in my opinion, wasted on the right. So that is like the big disappointment, at least for me. And in terms of surprises, there was basically only Christian Günther, who did a really good season at Freiburg in the Bundesliga, and who had like 1 cap for Germany, which was in a friendly where basically all the reserves played in 2014, I think, or 16. So he didn't really have the renown as a national player, but it's a good pick.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, on you go.
Are Germany really not very good at the moment, or are they just lulling us into a false sense of security in them? And when they start playing, they're going to win like 4-0 every game?
I think they're doing the typical German thing before tournaments. Be real shit in the last few games before. Like before 2006, we lost against Italy 1-4, and I think we drew against China or something, a similar bad team. Everybody was worried, and then you pick up some wins in the group stage, get out of the group, and then if we get to the knockouts, it's open for everything, and we're probably going to have a lucky draw. I see us going to the semis, but not because we're good, but because we are playing the right teams.
Do you think you're going to knock England out on penalties? Because that's highly likely.
We won't, because we won't get second place. We will get through to as one of the best thirds, I think, and then we will play. I think Denmark or Turkey.
I feel like you kind of have to beat Hungary, right?
Yeah, we have to, definitely. But as history shows, we also have a problem with small teams. Like we during the Euros in 2004, we had like Netherlands, Czech Republic in our group. We lost against the Czechs, drew with the Netherlands, had a kind of decent game, and then we drew with Latvia. So that was basically the reason why we lost that, and we also played shit football. But if there's a team who is going to struggle against Hungary, it's us.
Well, that'll be fun too. I mean, I'm going to enjoy watching Germany in this tournament until they knock England out.
The good thing is we play against Portugal. We always do good against Portugal in the last tournaments. Like we beat them at the Euros in 2008. We beat them at the Euros in 2012. We beat them at the World Cup 2014. So, I mean, you can't really base your opinion on those games because it's a totally different ball game right now. But we tend to do good against Portugal, even though we're not good at the rest of the games. I don't know why.
I think international rivalries do get in the heads of players, though.
Yeah. Basically, us against Italy, until the last Euros, we always lose against Italy. And I think we still do if we play them. But yeah, that's Germany against Italy is always a bad draw. Also, Germany against Spain is always bad for us. But Portugal is a good draw for us, of course.
I was wondering, I mean, we've not asked you yet, what was your prediction? Who were you thinking was going to win the Euros?
It basically comes down to the winner of Italy against France, I think. Okay. And I haven't seen the French play like in the tournament yet, but after the Turkey game, it looks like Italy is going to do this.
I'm just going to ignore the chat while I wait to see what happens with this free kick.
I hope he skies it. Please skive it so I can then say James Ward-Prowse should have been picked.
Yeah.
I'm also going to try and avoid Lucas's face because I know he's a bit ahead of us.
Yeah, I'm just
Lucas,
watching the footage at the moment.
Lucas, so first things first, how are you doing anyway? You keeping well? You keeping okay? Is the
Yeah,
dog keeping you up? Is the dog being noisy?
Yeah, she's chewing on some food right now, so she's happy and content. But yeah, it's exhausting with her, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
So instead of Kieran Trippier, it's going to be Mason Mount who's going to take this, right?
That's the thing I got from the chat.
Oh no!
What's Mason Mount doing in the Trippier zone? That was what I saw in there.
Good TNA reference there. Thank you very much. Rian knows how to warm my heart.
If Trippier isn't taking it, what's the point of him being in there? That was the whole point, wasn't it?
I wonder how foreign journalists and how foreign kind of press see England squads. I wonder if they even care.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he did take it. That was a decent one.
Yeah.
I was listening to one of basically the most important German podcasts about football in general, and they did a whole 4-hour preview of the tournament, and they basically slotted every team into a category like title candidate, surprise, average, and like happy to be there. And England was unanimously in the title candidate category. Like,
okay.
I think it's basically because there's still the image of the Premier League that's the best league in the world, and if you're the team of the best league in the world, your national team should be like at least good. Then you also have like good English player who play in Germany, which also gives them a big bonus in the German press, like Sancho or Bellingham. So yeah, they have a good team. They did well in the last World Cup. I have them. If Germany gets second, it's a done deal that we beat them in the round of 16. But otherwise, I have them going to. I think it's either the quarters or the semis at least.
Let me guess. Scotland were in the group category of just happy to be there.
Let me check. I think they were average.
Oof. I mean, I'd take average any day, but yeah, Croatia on the map. Croatia. Oh.
What's going on
here? Pickford.
It is a little bit tricky to tell what the referee's decisions are with no sound on.
Oh, no, they were. Scotland was at the top of the happy to be there teams.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Does that mean they're the most happy to be there?
Oh, we are.
Probably, but the teams slotted in behind them were Wales, Hungary, Slovakia, and Finland, and that's
no wonder we've not had a tournament since 1998.
What do you reckon?
But
finishing better than I thought.
Yeah, 0.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
If you doesn't matter what you did before the tournament, like in tournaments like these, like look at Wales, look at Iceland, the last Euros. In this kind of format, you can do basically everything. Hungary did also really well at the group stage, I think, last time. So why shouldn't Scotland at least get through the group? And if the draw is lucky, they will play someone who's not on their best day in the knockouts, and then boom, they're in the quarters.
You never know, and that's half time. England 0, Croatia 0. We'll be having thoughts about what we saw and what we thought, or what we did watch. I think the first 20 minutes was pretty good start from England.
It's kind of gone into a bit of a congested mess in midfield since then. But yeah, I agree with that. Started well. Foden is a bright spark, obviously, for England. I don't think Sterling is adding anything at all. I don't see why he's playing. I think you can change your formation and play Saka, or you can put Grealish on and he gives you something different. But I don't think he's fit. He doesn't look like he's up to speed.
I think the English blew their load a bit early. Like they really ran at the Croatians in like the first 10 minutes, and after that they just kind of seemed to lack the spark and the energy, and also they, like many of those creative teams with many creative good players, they tend to take too long to get a shot off, and always want to do the complicated route.
Yeah, trying to walk it in. Like.
Walking in basically, and maybe England just needs a screamer from 30 meters or something to put it in.
That was the best. The best chance was Foden when he took a shot on early and just curled it round Livakovic. That was very close.
Hang the post. I mean, as I say, they've been at the races for the first 20 minutes. It's just suddenly, as I say, there's passengers. What are you going to do with those passengers? Like Sterling seems at the moment to be a passenger.
Yeah, I certainly feel that's the case. I think the good news for England is, I think everyone's expecting Modric to be all over the place, controlling the game, and he's not had a lot of the ball. Which the more of the ball Modric has, the more effective Croatia are as a team, and that's really benefited England. That he's not had a lot of the ball. He's not been in the game as much as everyone thought he'd be. I think you kind of put the credit to Southgate for the formation. I think Calvin Phillips has played really well. He's been guarding that back four. He's been dropping in there and helping out. He's been making sure that these players don't get time on the ball. Declan Rice has been doing a very similar job, but I think Phillips has really stood out for me. This left side, though, is not working.
It's also, like you said in the preview, that the Croatians don't really have that man up top, like who's really number 9. Like Kramaric is more of a supporting striker. Rebic and Perisic are more wingers, and you don't like if Modric and Brozovic can't do like their build up from the midfield like they used to. You lack the opportunity to just put it long and look what the striker can do with it, because Kramaric or Rebic are not the type for that.
I think we might see this big lad Petkovic coming on because he's a big target man and he'll give them a focal point. Because at the moment they've got 3 players who are doing basically the same job. They're all very handy players, but Kramaric, as you said, Lucas, he prefers to play a little bit deeper. He's more of a number 10, like an attacking midfielder, and he's not really getting into these areas. He's not really causing them problems. He's more sort of drifting around here where there's already a load of players. So for me, Croatia are not causing this back line a problem. And I think if they did, they'd get a result out of it, because you look at that back line and there's trouble in there, I think.
I was just, Rian's just got a question there.
Sorry.
Is the aerial threat, no problem at all, is the aerial threat of Calvert-Lewin that something different that could change in the second half? Or is he expecting too much of Kyle Walker? I mean, you might be expecting too much of his ability of Kyle Walker to pass. If you saw, obviously, mentioned during it. I mean, could Calvert-Lewin change anything here, you think, Arn?
Well, I think Kane's really good in the air. So if they stick with Kane and they want him to kind of press into these areas, which he isn't really, he's kind of playing here, which is a similar problem to the one that that Croatia have. So I kind of understand the idea of bringing in a DCL who's going to really play in these areas and cause problems for the 2 centre-backs. The big question mark about that is, can they actually get the ball into the penalty area and actually put decent crosses in? Because you've got Foden, who likes to come inside, and you've got Sterling, who likes to kind of run around over here and then do nothing. So I think for me, if you switch them, which is what the BBC thought they were going to play, then maybe DCL would have to come on for Sterling, maybe. I don't know. Maybe play Kane on this side.
Could be. In terms, Lucas, I'll kind of get your thoughts on the Croatia side, because 2 of the players, I think only one of the players plays for the German, who's on the pitch right now. That's Kramaric. He plays for Hoffenheim. Would that be correct?
Yes.
And the striker Brekalo, he plays for, is it
Wolfsburg?
Wolfsburg? Yeah.
Yes.
How do you think Croatia have played so far as you're concerned?
I think they basically played like I expected them to, because I wasn't really expecting much from them. You already named all the games before. Like they won against Malta and they won against Cyprus. That are their only 2 wins since October. They lost against France, they drew with Turkey, lost against Portugal, lost against Sweden, lost against Slovenia, drew with Armenia, and lost against Belgium.
Yeah.
So you can see that they are not really a team that does well together. You could say they like a Mandzukic type, but that's probably not their only problem they have right now. They lack basically a plan B, because Modric can't put on his game as he wants to, and then they have no idea what to do with the ball. So Southgate really scouted them well and adapted his tactics to them. So if the English managed to get something out of their chances and get someone to finish properly, then if the first goal falls, it's going to be a 3-0, I think. If the Croatians can keep the English from scoring, I don't see them getting a goal from the counter, maybe from a set piece or a cheeky pen, but rather like it's either a 0-0 or it's a 3-0 for England. I don't think there's anything in between.
Well, this back line that England have got, there's a couple of players in there that I can see giving a penalty away. It only takes Rebic, who loves to fall over. It only takes him just nipping past Walker here, and like we're inside the penalty area, and he's like, oh, down he goes.
I mean, if you look at it, I mean, England's defense is having a good game so far. I mean, I don't think Croatia have troubled Pickford at all at any point.
I feel this is down to the tactical choices that Southgate's made. He's very much set them up to be like invulnerable through the middle, which is where, if you look at the midfield, look at how narrow that is. Perisic likes to come inside. Rebic likes to come inside. Even when Perisic is playing over on this side, he's playing here as opposed to here. And this formation has just not given Modric space to go into. He gets to here, and it's like, where's the pass for him? So he's marked. He's marked. He's marked. And he's coming up against this. Like, where does he go? Where's the out ball? And we're not getting, these boys aren't coming charging forwards because they don't want to take those risks in this opening game. So yeah, you can still see them getting a goal, but it'd probably be a mistake rather than something that they've created themselves.
Yeah,
I mean, there's also a problem of focusing your game plan too much on one player. Like, Modric is the center point of this team, which is the understandable thing to do because Modric is the world-class player. But as I said, you lack the plan B, because if Modric doesn't get his game like he wants to, Brozovic or Kovacic, they don't step up and take over the game from him. I don't know why, either because they don't want to, they can't, or maybe the who's the coach of Croatia? I don't know.
Dalic, Zlatko Dalic.
Yeah, maybe he's like he is straight against this. I don't know why, but he has like give every ball to Modric. I don't know, but Brozovic and Kovacic, they can create stuff, but yeah. It does really feel like.
Sorry, Lucas.
No,
it does really feel like they've set up to not lose today, as opposed to go after the game. If you saw the fullbacks kind of bombing forwards, if we saw like Vasalko up here, then that's going to create more issues. Because if Modric has got the ball here, Rice is coming out to him, you got Perisic nipping in here, and all of a sudden there are chances. Like Rebic maybe through here. Maybe you get Brozovic up in support, and you can start to get players doing things like this and pulling the defenders around. this is the kind of thing that we can get. But at the moment, he's not coming forwards. He's sat back here, and there's no space for them to create.
There's been, I mean, the thing is, that's another thing. When Modric goes, when it's finally over for Modric, this is when this team needs to kind of, as Lucas was saying, the plan is going to be thrown out the window, and it's going to have to get restarted again. Whether that'll be Ivan Usyk, who's on the bench at the moment, who maybe comes into that role, whether it's Badelj, number 19 of them. Are there going to be changes made? Do we expect any changes?
I like Pasalic personally. So Pasalic is plays for Atalanta. So we say he comes on for Modric. What Pasalic will do, he won't stay on the ball. He'll come forwards. Say you've got these boys making runs up in these areas. He'll pass it off to Perisic, and then he'll be in. Modric will sit there and look for this kind of run and try and feed it through this, which is tricky. Pasalic will lay it off, and then he'll bomb into the box, and he'll look for the return from Perisic. That would be a really good substitution for me if I'm looking at it from a Croatia point of view. But at the same time, I seriously doubt that they'll take Modric off unless he's tired.
I was
do you think it will be Modric's last tournament?
No, because the World Cup is so close. I think he'll play in the World Cup as well.
That'll probably be his last one, I reckon. I think the World Cup, if they get it, it'll be his last one. I was just looking at Croatia. Also, notably conceded more goals than any other team in the Nations League, and this called for them to want Dalic to resign. Again, it's a case of he's been coach of them now since 2017. So you just kind of think to yourself what's going to happen and what the situation is from there in terms of that. Lucas, in terms of the players who are in the Croatia team who have played in the Bundesliga, the two strikers, what's your thoughts on them? How have they been, or how are they perceived in their teams in the Bundesliga?
To be honest, I don't really know that well because nobody watches Hoffenheim or Wolfsburg games.
I was going to say, are you just stuck in your Schalke bubble? Is that it?
No. But like Wolfsburg and Hoffenheim are like basically teams nobody cares about because they're company teams. They're just company teams, and the town of Hoffenheim has I think not even 10,000 inhabitants, so there's not really a fan base, and it's just a product of one guy wanting to put his old club into the Bundesliga, so nobody really cares about him. So I didn't watch a lot of it, but Kramaric is always good for something special. Like he basically beat Bayern at the start of the season on his own, so he can do this, but mostly out of a supporting role. He's not like the striker up top. He's a bit behind the real number 9, and there he can really shine. And Brekalo is basically, if you could easily replace Perisic or Rebic with Brekalo, but it wouldn't change really much because they're similar kinds of players.
Okay.
In my opinion.
I agree with that.
I completely forgot that Kramaric had a short spell at Leicester. That has he's a Premier League winner because he played. I think he played 3 games for Leicester in that season, and until he was loaned to Hoffenheim. But yeah, so I mean that's kind of thing. Obviously, again, and Arne was saying this, and has been saying this quite a lot as the game's just about to kick off. Are Croatia ever going to find a replacement for Mario Mandzukic? Obviously, you were mentioning Arne. I think the Bruno could be it. Could he be it? You think, or
well, they've got a couple of players potentially that they could bring in here. So they've got Petkovic, who's the big lad, and they've got Budimir, who's also a big lad. So those are your options really. But at the moment, they don't seem to want to play that way. But the fact that they've taken them means they want them there as an option.
Yeah.
So I think if they're struggling here or in any other game,
Lucas, you kept yourself very quiet, not giving away anything in your looks there about that. Goodness me.
Yeah, to be honest, I totally missed what happened because I was focusing on you guys and not on the game.
He's too nice. He's too nice, this man. Yeah, that looked quite dangerous. Croatia have come out the traps already quickly. But yeah, it's one of those things that they need to replace Mandzukic. It's just going to probably take a while.
That's if they even want to. Do they want to change the way that they play to this kind of possession style of when they were playing possession football before, but they had a focal point for it. It's whether they feel they can win things playing this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they have to build up from the start again because if they don't do well at this tournament, I don't think Dalic will be the man to put up a new team. And it's not only Modric who's probably not going on, but also Perisic, who's also a big part of the team.
Yeah, Perisic is 33, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he would. He's only 33. He always seems like 38 or something. But I don't see him like going on too long after that. Maybe the World Cup and then he's finished. That's depending on how they. If they somehow win the Euros, he probably will say, "Oh, yeah, done, been there, won it. I'm fine now." But yeah. But they probably will have to bring in someone new with new ideas, new technical style, and bring in new people.
England getting back to dodgy ways in the defense again. I love it.
Well, this is the thing. In the first half, Croatia didn't really it's a rough one. Croatia didn't really create problems for that back line in the first half, and in the first 2 minutes, they've got in there. And they've hustled and they've caused. That's not a good challenge. Yeah, they've caused problems for that back line, which they needed to really, because that is England's weak spot, is the defence. So they need to get in there. If you don't give the likes of Mings and Walker and Stones time on the ball, you can get at them. And they played themselves into trouble there. Well, they almost played themselves into trouble.
While the game is at a bit of a slow point, I want to kind of get Lucas's opinion on something. We've not mentioned it in a while, so I'm going to mention it now. European Super League, and the whole kind of thing was brought up.
Here he goes again.
That. There we go. The reaction automatically shows me his thoughts. So I'm going to go about this in a different way, though, so it's not going to be what expected was, were you glad that Schalke weren't invited? It was a case of, obviously, a lot of people have mentioned situations involving the Germany ownership of the 50 plus 50, 51 or 50, 49, 50, whatever that one is. And a lot of people are bringing that in. How important has that been for German football? How much is that shown to be quite vital in certain situations in German football?
It should have been more vital than it is right now, because teams like Leverkusen, Wolfsburg, Hoffenheim, Leipzig, they basically undermined the whole thing, so that's not really worth anything anymore. But the German government got in there and basically said because someone there's some people in Germany who want to abolish that rule, because they like there's a guy who runs most of Hannover 96. And he wants to take over the club, and he's not allowed to because of 50+1, and he wants to abolish that rule. And doing that, he basically said to the government, "Hey, is this rule even legal?" And they said, "Yes, it's legal, but the way it is now, like with teams like Leverkusen and Hoffenheim and stuff, in that way, it's not. So you have to do something about those teams in terms of the regulation. So basically, it could be that because of this government injection, the whole regulation will change in a way that teams like Leipzig and Hoffenheim can't operate like they are used to. And this could be the game changer there, right? Because if they do it like this, that would be the best thing for German football that happened in years. Because if you look at the Bundesliga right now, all the great teams are in the second division. And you have teams like Leipzig, Hoffenheim, Leverkusen, Wolfsburg, who nobody cares about. And then you also have some small teams who really did good, like Augsburg, Mainz, Bielefeld, who have their supporters, but are not that big in the dimensions of Schalke, Bremen, Cologne, and stuff. So they did good, but nobody really cares about them in the wide consensus. So everybody's excited about the second division next year, me especially, but that doesn't matter. Because it's just so many big clubs with a lot of tradition. You got Dresden and Rostock coming up from the third division, so you have also some good teams from East Germany back in there. It is just a great place for like fans of football and fan culture, I think.
Do you ever expect a league kind of like a reshape of how the league is kind of ever played? Do you think that's something that can ever happen? Because obviously, that, as you said, there are teams that are in those lower divisions, the likes of Kaiserslautern and
Kaiserslautern can fuck off and die. Just to be clear. Kaiserslautern can fuck off and die in the lowest of lowest divisions. I fucking hate them. But sorry.
No, it's fine.
Not a fan of Kaiserslautern.
I'm gonna kind of rip out all the questions when we come down to your actual podcast interview where I'm no Kaiserslautern. Might even make sure I cancel the order for the Kaiserslautern shirt I'm gonna buy. Also, Alan has a. Oh, listen, you just don't be angry at Alan. He's got a Kaiser. I think he bought a Kaiserslautern trackie top. Something.
I think I already talked about that with him, and yeah, not pleased there.
Words.
To the question before, and that is a question, Ivan, that I was going to bring up in just a second. I will mention that the German, obviously, like I say, do you think there could be a restructure discussion in the future about the Bundesliga, or do you think people are just happy with the way it is?
Because it's a league ruled by the big teams, Dortmund, Bayern, basically just Bayern. It's not going to change in a big way, except the government intervenes like they did now. But that doesn't mean that much right now, because it's just said like, okay, you have to do something about that, but didn't specify anything. And so it could be that it doesn't change anything at all. But that's the only way something would change, in my opinion, because German football is very how to say it the right way. It's very set in stone, like how they do things.
Yeah, it's set. It's a case of they don't really. It's kind of they're stuck in the ways of how they've had it. They don't feel there's a need for change. Would you say, unless something, as you said, kind of severe comes into it?
Yeah, the only types of change they really are up for are like to basically get more Premier League style. Not in terms of like increasing the league. They already discussed it a lot and everybody said no. But like splitting up the games every week, doing more games on more different dates so they can get more TV money. That's how they changing and how they changed in the last 20 years. They even went so far and did like Monday games, which was not appreciated by the German fans, and for good reason are a thing of the past now. But yeah, that's a good thing that we have a big supporters culture, fan culture who's opposing stuff like that, but they only can go so far in their protest. So that it's going to be, if you can get more money for the teams, they would do something. But other than that, nothing challenge.
I hope Rian is on his excited feet because Jack Grealish was just being shown as warming up.
Get him on, lads.
Grealish watch, he is warming up.
Get him on.
Ivan has a question for you.
Just say, look, I can't believe England have not actually started the second half yet, and we're 10 minutes in. It's like, did they not notice the second half had kicked off?
The only thing is we had the Modric chance. Other than that, this second half has been a little bit slower. So Ivan has a question for you, Lucas. If you don't mind answering.
I would say. I read the question. It would take probably longer. Just wait a bit.
Yeah. Because I was going to say, do you? I mean, Arn, what do you think about Ivan's question with the 50 plus 1? Oh,
hang on, Eddie. Hang on, Eddie.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh, fuck off.
That's why I said wait a bit.
That's fine. I didn't know why. I was like, okay, bastards. Okay, I'll let you play, and then I'll ask the question.
Sorry, I'm just watching some of the fans fall over in the background there. Quality.
Yeah, they just showed a really fat guy bouncing, and it just you see the like I'm a fat guy myself, so just so you see, I'm not fat shaming anyone, but seeing the slow motion of the movement of his belly was really the jilling was really fascinating.
What a goal! England 1-0. Let's have a wee look. Okay,
that's Calvin Phillips making that forward run.
I think it is Calvin.
That's
Phillips.
a good run.
Oh,
and Sterling, who I've been saying they should take him off, it's a good run in from the side there. He's gone through the middle. That's unlucky though. That defender that was coming across, I didn't see who it was.
It might have been. Let's see.
He was just late getting there. Vasalko, was it coming in?
Maybe Vasalko. And there you go, 1-0 England.
I was just saying they hadn't even started the second half, but
and we were and as I say there were people slaughtering Sterling. So there you go. England's campaign is up and running. It's coming home, as some people will start saying. Right. Since that's a thing now, yes, Lucas. The question from Ivan McGann.
Yes.
Since I am dumb and don't understand signals at some points, hoping it was Croatia scoring so I could start dancing. Tell me, what's your thought process on that?
Yeah, I don't see how they really can do it because, like, the clubs are owned by the people in charge. Like it's a thing of property, and I think there's a lot of problems. Like I'm all for it, but I think there's a lot of legal issues with just basically taking part of this property away from them. So I don't think it's going to happen really soon. I think there's a lot of legal stuff you have to go through, and it's basically maybe something for like 20 years times. If you got the whole legal stuff out of the way, and then I don't see it happening because they will lobby against it, and they will lobby against it hard, and they have the money, they have the power. So yeah, the only people who could change it are the politicians, and if they smell money, they will do shit about it.
And that was another thing he was mentioning underneath it was Bayern signing players on Bosman. Oh.
Sorry, the dog got the shoe.
It's completely fine. In terms of the aspect of Bayern signing players on Bosmans from German clubs, there's not really anything clubs can do about that really, but it must be a frustrating realization.
It does, from the outside looking in, it does make it look like a bit of a Mickey Mouse league. It's Bayern and a bunch of other scrubs.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's just. It's not a thing only Bayern does. It's a thing Dortmund does as well.
Win the league.
No, like taking the best players from with Bosmans, because like Bayern get their players from Dortmund. They get Lewandowski, they get Hummels, they get and stuff. So then what does Dortmund do? They go to the one club below. They go to Gladbach. They go to Frankfurt. They go to Leverkusen. Get those guys in. Those clubs will go one down. They will look to Mainz. They will look to Augsburg. They will look to Cologne and Bremen, and will take their players who are who are free and take them up to their team. So it's just a system of a pyramid going down with bossmans, and I don't think that's the problem. Oh, that doesn't look good. Ooh, that doesn't look good.
Well,
There was there's a nasty injury. Nothing on the level of yesterday, but that was hurtful.
Oh, let's see here.
Yeah.
Is that Harry?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Oh, well, there goes everyone's top goal scorer.
He's in my fantasy team.
I mean, I'm watching it again. Let's see. Did he go right into the post?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's not hit it that hard. But obviously, it's a very sturdy bit of equipment. Yeah, his head's not hit it, so it's
just a shoulder.
Yeah, his shoulder. Yeah, so hopefully he hasn't injured his shoulder.
As they show the Englishman very. Ooh.
Oh, he's up. He's running again.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But that had to hurt. That had to hurt.
Oh, is he okay? Is he okay? Looks good. He's fine.
Yeah, just a bit of a pain.
He's okay.
What time are we on now? We're on 61 minutes.
61.
Or a bit higher if you're watching above us. Do we reckon substitutions are coming quite soon, I take it? Potential on the Croatian side?
Yeah, they have to change something up because
the
whole plan of like keeping a sturdy defense is gone out the window now. They have to do something offensive wise, and they had some good decent chances like in the start of this half, but since the goal doesn't really happen that much. Oh, there's another injury. It looks like.
Was there another injury?
We're just watching a replay of the goal, so.
So Kane's walking off.
Yeah, we got Kane back up. What minute are you on, Lucas?
63 and 27 seconds.
Oh, okay. So you're exactly a minute ahead of us.
If he's unlucky, there's some damage, but basically just stepped on his foot.
I'm just watching the play here, going like, who's gonna get stepped on?
I'm gonna reckon it's someone from England, right?
No.
Oh.
But he's up again. He's up. Okay.
No, we're back. It's there we go. Oh no.
No.
It's one of those ones where you just keep watching because we're a minute behind.
Sorry, I'm not trying to spoil anything anymore.
No,
he just stepped on his foot. Yeah.
No, listen, it's fine. Completely okay, Lucas. Anyone can get away with it. Yeah, okay. I like how Croatia were just like, let's just pass the ball about and just carry on.
I really think that's a yellow card. That's not. I don't think there's any maliciousness in that. He's just stepped on his foot.
I don't think there has to be any intent there. It's just he's just dead late. So and I think that's the reason.
Yeah, Rayton said the same. He doesn't know how that's a yellow card. It's just if he hadn't gone down injured, I don't think he's even a free kick.
It's still you're going out, you're going into you're bumping into someone and that's happening. So yes, by the way, we are at 50 subscribers. Thank you very much, everybody.
I should got a little party popper or something.
We wish if only. England again. Oh,
that's a revenge one, isn't it?
And they're still carrying on. Brilliant. Yeah. Love it.
Flattened him there.
This ref is very kind of flippy floppy with decisions here.
He's Italian.
In general, I feel like the standard of the refereeing has been very good so far this tournament.
Yeah. They I didn't realize at the first game, at the Italy game, that they changed the hand rule. So I was really going off about the Italians. Right to be pissed at the referee because he hasn't given them some pens, but then I realized, they changed the rule.
Ping, void.
Oh, for God's sake! Listen, I have to. I can't not. It's like when you get people who argue about you can't support this team because you're supporting the coefficiency stuff that takes place in competition football, where it's like, Oh, but you've got to support
Oh.
Rangers and Celtic because if they don't, the coefficiency is going to be.
I hate this argument. I hate this argument so much.
Yeah, just support who you want. Like, no one cares.
Like I'm a Schalke supporter, and if Bayern plays Dortmund in the Champions League final, I just want the plane to crash in there and just nobody's winning.
Wipe the stadium, man.
Oh, England on here. Oh, is this Trippier's zone? Oh, it's Trippier.
Highway to the
It's
Trippier
left
zone.
side, so I mean, I can see Foden taking that. Not left side, you know what I mean? It's on the side for a left-footed player, so the right side.
Is the nation going to be bouncing? Is fat men in England shirts and the hats going to be celebrating? We will just need to see. It's a bit of a okay. I can see he's got his arm around him, and then yeah, Mount kind of goes down like he's been tackled there. Rugby tackled, evidence with. Brozovic with a yellow. I think Brozovic and Gvardio are on yellows at the moment in time. I think he was the one who he got yellow, I think, but yeah, and then obviously Foden got the yellow card. But yeah, I think that was one thing I saw a lot of people in the Italy game were very about the handballs, the decisions that were made. I think the VAR decisions have been quite quick, which I think is good.
So Mount's gonna have a go. Curious,
oh no,
curious
Trippier.
decision.
Oh no,
Close, but
no cigar. No cigar.
You got a free kick specialist there. You might as well.
I mean, they do have a free kick. We do have a free kick specialist. You do have a free kick specialist. He's in Southampton currently at the moment. Probably just sitting at home. Lucas, how do you see this tournament going down? As in, do you think it'll be a quite entertaining one? Are there games that you are taking the time other than German games to watch and have a look at, or?
I'm trying to watch as many games as I can, but I probably don't think it's going to be an entertaining tournament until the knockout stages. It's basically like the last tournament, like the last Euros, which was really harsh to watch in the group stages because there were games like Albania versus Romania, where both teams aren't really doing something creatively with the ball. It just defensive put the walls up and see what happens teams, and we have a lot of those as well in this tournament. Like the game after this one, like Austria versus North Macedonia. Alan was really excited about it. I think it's going to be a really boring 0-0 because
sorry, I was watching subs warm up. I didn't even hear what game that was.
Austria versus North Macedonia. Because Austria
might be right.
Austria wants to make the game, but they can't, and North Macedonia doesn't want to, so there will be no game basically.
I hope Macedonia come and have a go. The thing with Macedonia is they've already won because they're here, so they might as well have a go.
Yeah, but I don't see them. I don't see them. Maybe they get lucky. Like it's hard to compare because of the Ericsson situation, but maybe they can do something like Finland yesterday, have like one big chance, make the goal, and then try to not concede anymore. But I don't see it. I see a really boring 0-0 because Austria is not as good as they should be. They have really good players. They have basically a really good pick of the Bundesliga.
I was going to say most of the Austrian team play in the Bundesliga, so you would know.
Yeah,
but
they have really good players. But Rashford is coming on. Okay.
Yeah, they have been tipped to potentially win that group because of the obvious issues that the Netherlands have got. Is that likely, or
no?
How do you feel?
I don't think they make it out of the group stages because because
Vlasic has come on as well.
Austria is focused on Alaba, and Alaba knows this and uses this so that he can play where he wants to play. The problem is he's not good at this position. He always wants to play like in defensive midfield or just as a playmaker, and he is a fullback or wing back. Like he's not. He shouldn't play in the midfield. So because that robs Austria of so many opportunities to create some, because they have some good midfielders. They have Schlager from Wolfsburg, who's really good at dictating the pace of the game. And if you focus that too much on Alaba, players like him get wasted in this team, and they can't really.
Rashford just came on for Foden, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. So there will be no goal from the Gaza incarnate.
Austria has all the players to do well. It's basically like Croatia. They have the players to do well, but they won't do because the style of play they're having is not suited to the players they have.
I think one of the players I like to look off from the Austria team.
I was going to say for England that was a like-for-like swap, so they're basically lined up the same as they were before. But for Croatia, that's a formation change. Bringing on Vlasic for a more defensive-minded player in Brozovic, they're basically saying go forward, get into these spaces, and push forwards. Brekalo is more of a like-for-like, so he's going to kind of charge down this side. Is that a positive move, do you think, for Croatia?
I mean,
well, it doesn't hurt to get the pace of Brekalo in there, because they need to go onto the defensive speed.
Have they put him on the right? Have they?
I don't see it right now.
Because if they put him on the left, then he's going up against.
No, I think he's on the right, and Perisic went on the left.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense, because obviously England got the strength of the pace of Walker, so it would make sense if he went over the other side.
Oh, there we go. Oh, Croatia look like, even though Arn's screen is now being shown on my thing, it's okay. Croatia look like they're starting to kind of get back. They're trying to get something out of, obviously, because as you say, they can't just defend anymore. Yeah,
well, Vlasic is a very attacking change in terms of midfield, but they are playing. They're still keeping the ball on the deck. He says as they swing across him. And you see that is the benefit of getting crosses in against England. They don't look confident at all with these balls into the box. I'm sure Scotland are licking their chops at seeing this, because that's something they can do quite happily, is swing a few crosses into the penalty area and cause problems.
I was going to say about the Austria game, I think someone that I'm looking to see how they'll do will be Sasa Kalajic, the boy who plays for Stuttgart.
Yeah.
Because he scored twice against Scotland. And I was quite interested to see how he'll do in this. I mean, he's basically a target man. I think he's been rumoured to be the replacement of the man who's on our screen right now, Harry Kane, being covered by Kaleta Carr. Just from what I've heard, but we haven't anything happened. You know what I mean? Obviously you've seen him play. I take you don't focus on Stuttgart a lot though, but.
Oh, they played a good season this year. Kalajdzic is a good player. I don't see him like at Spurs. That's probably one step too soon. But I can see if his development goes on like it did this year, he could be there in like 2 or 3 years, definitely. But I don't see him quite there. And was it Sterling who missed that?
Yeah, he skied that one.
Symbolic.
That's nowhere near.
I mean, the good news is in American football, he's got 3 points.
He hasn't. That's nowhere near going through the uprights. It's high, wide, and handsome.
Oh. Is this game stopped? Yep. What's happening now? It's always weird. Oh, number. Which it was.
Stones. What's he doing?
I think there's been some incident that's happened.
Well, I was saying that England had centre-back problems. That is not going to help.
If he's off. If that's what it looks like is happening.
You look at their lack of depth at centre-back. If Maguire isn't fit and Stones has got a bad injury here that's going to keep him out of group games, that's even worse for that.
Doesn't look like it.
Well, you've got You got Connor Cody who can play there. You got Ben White who got called in late. But the idea of playing Stones alongside Mings was that Mings is very inexperienced at this level. You needed somebody more experienced alongside of him. And Stones is a cultured centre back who's played at the highest level. So he's the one name that in that back line where you looked at him and went, well, that's reassuring. But the rest of them, not so much.
If you've bet the house on, he's back up. There's Harry Maguire looking bewildered.
Thick. He always looks bewildered, doesn't he? He looks confused.
Yeah.
What's going on?
That could be. We're 15 minutes left this game, though. England so far holding on. Croatia not doing anything other than the crosses into the box, they've not really done a lot.
I have to say, I was expecting to that Croatia would break down after the goal. That England has going to be running at the goal just to keep scoring. But
the trouble with the English mentality is that we score a goal and we're like, yeah, we've won, and then we concede.
That's basically how the way Schalke played until 2 seasons before. Because
now they just lose 4-0 all the time. It's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, we don't even get ahead. And if we do, we still lose.
Well, at least you're consistent in the losing.
So far, Adam is on for a point. Who else is on for a point? American Brian is on for a point. Mort is on course for 2 points.
Of course he is.
If England can hold on.
Has he got like a magic ball or something?
I think he just likes to predict a lot of 1-0s.
I think you're getting a wish.
It's a good tournament.
Because Petkovic just got subbed on.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, Petkovic gives them a presence in the middle. And you saw from that one cross that Perisic came in and caused problems with. You put Petkovic in there, and I think England could have a real problem because they are not dealing well with any balls coming in from wide areas.
Oh.
In the air, anyway.
We go that going out for a throw-in, and this we're going to do the sub, is it?
So, who did he come in for?
He's coming in for
Rebic, I think.
Rebic has had a very quiet game.
I think.
Yeah.
Very quiet. That's where is he? Petkovic on, Rebic off. Oops, Rebic off. So Petkovic, as I was saying, he's the kind of player who's going to go and elbow his way into this area and cause problems for Mings and Stones that they haven't had to deal with in the game so far.
Did Sterling just cover the ball there like he was an ice hockey goalie?
I was looking at the tactic screen, so
it's okay.
It's not when you go to make a substitution in Football Manager and the game's still playing in the background, someone scores, and all you see is like the goal at the bottom, and you're like, oh, good.
Yeah, and speaking of Football Manager, obviously Lucas is the manager of Glasshawk Rangers, the best team the best German team in the
three-time German champion.
Invitational. Always starts off shit and then comes out somehow winning the rest of the games when we take a break.
I don't know what's happening there. I always, my nerves could use a strong start to the next season.
You've started. Obviously, we're on to season 4. You excited about season 4? You happy with your squad and your lineup?
I was really scared yesterday because when Ericsson went down, I have Ericsson in the Moyes, and I thought the first thing I thought was not, oh my god, what's happening to him? It was, fuck, if he dies, I can't play him in the Moyes, can I?
A bit of a situation there. The main thing is, though, obviously. But yeah, other than that, your Moyes team, you quite happy?
I'm really happy with it. Yeah.
That's German priorities there, people. Is he all right?
Sorry.
Oh no, my
sorry. Yeah, I'm not proud of that thought. I'm not proud of it. but it
Listen,
happened.
Lucas. Listen, Lucas. We know it's not. We know it's not what the thought is. So do not worry about that at all. We know you're not that type of person.
Yeah, I'm really happy about my team. I got most of the players I wanted to get. There's a bit of unsure. I'm a bit unsure who I'm going to start in the back, especially at the wings. But yeah, I'm happy with my team.
Croatia looking dangerous here, but then the guy falls over, and then
Yeah,
what
they're
on
clearly
earth?
trying to get the ball in from wide areas here. They've changed the way that they're approaching this game.
Come on, get a last minute goal for a laugh. It makes it more interesting. Well, what is that?
Yeah, well, they seem to be rushing a bit, which
Oh, here
they're
comes
normally very patient with their build-up, so that they're clearly rattled at the amount of time that's left, but they shouldn't be. There's plenty of time.
here comes number 26, Saka.
Yeah,
Bellingham.
Bellingham, mate.
Bellingham. All right, I've never seen these players play. Even though I've got Bellingham, I think I had Bellingham once, or maybe Sancho. Bellingham on.
I wouldn't have known it's Bellingham if I hadn't seen the name on the screen.
Who came off? Sorry, I didn't even see it come off. Oh, it's Kane.
Oof. So who's the striker?
Well, this
Rashford
looks
now.
more like a formation change with Rashford and Sterling, and Bellingham's going to come in here somewhere. I mean,
In terms of what I see on the screen right now, it's more of Rashford going up top and Sterling staying on the wing. It's more like they have 4 in the middle basically, and Rashford up top.
It's a very interesting formation if you're not having any proper striker up front, unless they're going.
I feel like you leave Rashford up there. Sterling has pace, so it kind of makes sense.
Come on, Croatia.
Is Pickford still at Everton on?
Yeah. He had a really terrible start to the season, to the point where people were saying don't pick him for England.
Oh, I thought there was a bad
he's been good since Christmas, and I feel like he's done enough to be still there. It helps him a little bit that Henderson didn't kick him out of the team. I think if Henderson had got ahead of him in the pecking order, then he'd be here, but he wouldn't be starting. But Henderson has not been able to dislodge De Gea, which is bizarre to me.
The Rooney family apparently are hovering over the benches like England overlords. Apparently, I missed this comment from Rian, but there you go.
I saw the comment, but then I looked and I couldn't see him. So,
is Wayne gonna ask one of them if he wants a lift in the morning? Oh,
Are we having 5 subs in this tournament?
I think given what happened to Christian Eriksen, yeah. I think given the heat, given the season that these players have had to go through, and the fact they didn't really have a break from the last season coming into this one, then yeah, I think you need to make those substitutions. I know it breaks up the flow of the game a little bit, but I'd rather have that than players collapsing from fatigue.
I was just surprised because Croatia just subbed for the 4th time, and I thought they were sticking to 3 at the Euros.
No, who's he coming on?
It's your boy. It's my boy Pasalic coming on. Who's he coming on for?
Kovacic.
Imagine it'd be up.
Coming on for Kovacic. So they're leaving Modric out there, and it would help if I actually put the tactics board on the screen so you can see what I'm doing. There you go.
Oh, so there we go. Croatia. Oh, look at that! Look at that play from Modric there.
Silky skills. But you see what they're doing here? They've changed their formation completely now. Pasalic is the kind of player who's going to get forwards. Vlasic is a much more attacking midfield player than what they had to start with. And Modric is basically the most defensive-minded of the 3 in central midfield, so they're really going for it.
It's interesting. I mean, we would expect. Well, yeah. Oh, there's a hand 5, shake hands, all this. Get a free kick for Croatia at the moment. He's wearing a cap just up and to the right, says Rian. So he is there as old Wayne. Let's see this free kick.
I mean, I know England have kind of gone a bit more defensive, but in a way, this is kind of playing into their hands because you've got Rashford and Sterling in the forward line. If they catch Croatia with too many players forward, then they could be in real trouble.
Kaleta arguing with John Stones.
Shoot Kaleta.
So apparently that's a free kick against Kaleta. I'm not sure he's done a lot wrong there.
I do enjoy the Croatian manager's attire of just shirt and jeans. I respect it.
Business casual.
He's business casual for this tournament. He's like, I'm here.
Isn't there a suit mandate like in the Champions League?
I think so. I think the Champions League does have a mandate for a suit.
Tuchel was wearing a tracksuit.
I mean, as long as it's some kind of suit, I guess.
I don't think a tracksuit counts. You can't get a tie on that.
Well, you can find one. Just apply a tie around your neck, some shit like that.
Tracky tie.
I'm just wondering because, like, if the Champions League has it, it's run by UEFA. Why does the Euros don't have it? Why the Euros don't have it? Basically,
I don't think there's a dress code. I think it's just considered acceptable.
Oh.
And you get scruffy pricks like Tuchel ruining it for everyone else.
See, so after Flick is the manager of the German national team, and once he leaves, is there any name that I'm going to assume the name Nagelsmann?
He hasn't even started yet.
I know.
Give him a chance.
I'm just saying in the future, I'm just assuming that the future of German football, or what people are probably expecting, would be Nagelsmann being the coach at some point. Because it seems like everyone goes around that circle of manage one of those clubs and then get the Germany job, I reckon. And the amount they spent on Nagelsmann.
I don't see Nagelsmann as the head coach because the German Federation, they tend to stick to people who have worked there before, like either the former assistant coach or the youth coach, and like that's why Kunz was a big candidate for the job.
Sorry, it's a funny word to us.
You childish man.
I was talking about this with my girlfriend just before when I watched the episode from yesterday. No, not about Kunst, but about funny names, because Wixie was on there in the chat, and I told her about the joke that in German it's called, like, it sounds like he's a masturbating elf.
Oh, that's nasty for Bellingham.
Yeah, when you get one of them little flick headers and somebody heads you in the back of the head, that's nasty.
Yeah.
Because that bit at the back, that's the soft part of your skull.
Oh
The
well,
bit
it
at the
looks like.
front's hard,
Are we getting Bellingham being taken off for Calvert-Lewin? No, he's there. He's back up.
No,
fine.
seems to be
He's
okay.
up. Yeah.
No, they're just having their drinks break as usual.
Getting some Gatorade.
I assume they're going to take Sterling off there.
2 minutes to go before the 90, and then we've got the extra time. England look, I say, and they look home and dry at the moment. Croatia.
That's it. Jinx it. Why don't you?
Oh, look,
Look
naked
at the
man.
state of him. Look at the state of the lot of them. Jesus Christ.
What Lucas cannot see is that we are currently watching the BBC coverage has cut to a bunch of naked near enough men. Anyway. Oh.
I'm just getting a screenshot of that so I can use it in the...
Are you serious?
The thumbnail.
use it in the thumbnail, yeah.
Lucas, we're glad that you've been able to join us. We're glad that you
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Enjoy watching, enjoy listening to the show quite a lot. We would like to, once obviously all the Euro coverage is done, we would like to have you on at some point to talk about the history of Schalke. You can brace us with all your love about that time that Raul was part of your club, or Jan Huntelaar.
Good times. Good times.
Well, That time you were Bundesliga champions for about a minute and a half.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you want to knock us off the guest before we even have the guest?
But it was funny.
Also, it was 4 minutes. That was 4 minutes.
4 minutes. 4 minutes is better than no minutes.
That's one of those like Karen comments. Actually, it was 4 minutes, not 1.5. But yeah, Schalke with a rebuild. Obviously, well, Schalke gonna do much? You think? Are they gonna do a rebuild, or is it just a case of?
Well, they have to do a rebuild. Yeah, they already got rid of Serra, who's going to join Hertha, which is really, really sad because we sold him to Hertha for 8 million. We bought him for, I think, 12. And in January of 2020, West Ham offered us 45 million for him, and we said no. And if that doesn't summarize the success of Schalke's transfer politics, I don't know what does.
It's impressive.
And then you have to say goodbye to the American Weston McKennie. You really bothered by that one?
He's like I don't consider him like that. He's still with us anymore. Like he's at Juve since the beginning of the season, and I have to admit that was a good deal for us in terms of finances. It was a bad deal in terms of roster management because he was basically the only good player we had in the disaster that was the second half of last season. And then you got rid of him, and then you have basically it just got even worse since then.
Yeah, but nobody wants to buy all the bad players.
Yeah.
The thing is, they're not bad players. They're bad players at Schalke. There are a lot of good players who are really amazing. They come to Schalke and they just forget how to play football.
Oh, sorry, I'm just laughing because Arne accidentally refreshed the page.
I actually clicked back on the. I have a mouse with a little back button on the side, and I accidentally pressed it, and we were back to the Luckily, I've got it on full screen, so it kind of went just back to not in full screen, so we didn't actually have to reload or anything.
No more Mustafi, no more Kolasinac. Those were two interesting signings you made there, pal.
Kolasinac, I would have loved Kolasinac to stay at the club because he really is a Schalke guy. He has been in our youth department for a long time, and even when he left, he was still. If he could, he was at some games. He always followed the club and did some comments about it. Like he was watching, and he was.
I think Arsenal are quite happy for you to have him back.
Yeah, but he wants too much money. That's a problem. And Mustafi, I don't know what was going on there. I don't know why anybody in their right mind would sign Mustafi, except maybe you're in the third division, and then you can get him. If he doesn't want too much money, then he is a good player. But if you're in the first division of any of the big leagues, get rid of him. What are you doing, basically? I still like he and Kevin Grosskreutz are basically one of my most go-to people if I need some motivation. Like if I think I can't do shit, I'm bad at everything. What is the point even? Then I remember Shkodran Mustafi and Kevin Grosskreutz won the World Cup, and I know I can do everything I want to.
Oh, and I believe we're in the 94th minute. It's now or never pretty much for Croatia. He's tried to already lap.
Oh, half a chance.
And that is it.
That's it.
That's it.
1-0 England. 1-0 England.
It's coming home, people. It's coming home.
No,
German.
I'm not going to get carried away there. That's
A German is saying that. For fuck's sake. That's when you know it's all gone Pete Tong. England won. Croatia 0. England looked alive for the first 20 minutes. Quiet for the remainder of the first half. Arn, do you want to have a wee chat about it quickly before we finish off?
Yeah, I think England didn't start the second half at all well, and that one barnstorming run from Calvin Phillips completely changed the game. Because like without that, I think that England were in a bit of bother there second half. They hadn't really started. So yeah, it completely changed the game because like you score that goal and all of a sudden you can kind of play with a bit more freedom. Croatia, when they made their changes, they didn't make them quick enough. What they probably should have done is make a change at half time, because the way that they were playing was very samey. It was very predictable, and it wasn't until like an hour into the game they started getting balls in from wide positions, and you could see the havoc that caused in that back line. Like if I'm Steve Clarke watching that, I'd be like, all right, crossing practice, lads. Let's whip some balls into the box, and there's goals there.
Well, first we would need to see how we do tomorrow against the Czech Republic. But yeah, I think I agree with you. I think England looked good for the first 20 minutes. They slowed down. I don't think they had any substance for the rest of it that was anything of, looked major. Yep, at set piece, at crosses, they looked very sloppy at points. Croatia, very samey. Again, we're kind of when the second half kicked off, Croatia obviously looked a bit more up for it, and when the changes obviously came in, which were too little, too late, it was very they looked like they had a chance, but they just, I say, one situation resolved it.
Yeah, if I'm Zlatko Dalic, I'd be pretty worried, because even though it's not the strongest of groups, no offense to Scotland or the Czech Republic, but if they'd have been in the group with, like, if they were the third team, say in the group of death, they'd be absolutely bricking it. They didn't really look like scoring unless they did what I said they should, which is take advantage of England's weakness at the back with balls into the box. You're not going to be able to do that in the other games in this group. I don't think there's any weakness at the back for the Czech Republic in the central defence and the keeper. They're fine. They could try and play like they did in the first 10 minutes of the second half here, and just inject a bit more pace and try and get at the back line. But if I'm Dalic, I'd be worried. That was not a good performance.
Yeah, but they're lucky that they play the Czechs in the next game, because I think if they would play Scotland in the next game, Scotland is not great to play against. That would be like, Scotland is a team you have to win against, but it's easy not to win there, because it's just so, I think, annoying for them to play against Scotland, because Scotland is about destroying the other people's other team's game, and if you have to win there, the way Scotland plays really gets to you, and so they're lucky they're against the Czechs, who are more offensive than the Scots, so they can have a better chance to exploit some weaknesses in the defense. And if they win against the Czechs, the pressure's not that high against Scotland to really get a result there. If they lose or draw against Czech Republic, I think they're out. Then I don't think they will get something done against Scotland.
And would you agree with Arn in terms of how England look, or how did England look to you, Lucas, during the game?
Yeah, I would say I would agree with most of what Arn said. I think it was a good start for them. They can build up from there, but they have to basically they have to how to put it. They have to get more out of the possession they have. They have to get into the box quicker. They have to get off shots quicker. But if they can do this, I don't see why they shouldn't go at least to the semis, because it was a decent performance.
Was it as much of a shock to you two as it was to me that England had 60% of possession in that game against a team that is known for dominating midfield And I consider that to be a tactical victory for Southgate because of the way that he lined up.
Can I just interrupt you guys just for 1 minute? So the Denmark team doctor, I think there was a conference quite during the game, or I think just maybe an hour before the game, has basically spoke. He can confirm that Christian Eriksen suffered cardiac arrest, and that he was gone before he was resuscitated. We got him back after one defib. I've also heard, and again, I don't know whether this is true or not, that Eriksen has been forced to retire. I don't know whether that's true or not. You'd kind of expect it. Again, just assuming.
I was not expecting him to play again. Not after that. If you die on a football pitch, you probably don't want to be playing football again.
I don't see it that way. I think if you're a professional football player, all you live for is football. It's the biggest part of your life, basically. And I think that's a major change of your life if you experience something like that. But I think if you're coming up from that healthy, I think you would do anything to get back into a football pitch. I always look at Gerd Zamor, the German player. He has a heart condition, and he broke down on the pitch when he was, I think, 19 or something, and he tried everything to get back on the pitch. So he even had, at every game he played, there was a guy with a defibrillator there just in case that he goes down again. So and if you like Eriksen, you have the means to do something like that, to get the best treatment, to have the best medical staff around you, then I think he would do anything to get back on the pitch. I don't see him walking away from it that easy. Although
Daley Blind came back, and he collapsed on the pitch. I don't think he was dead at any point. I'm not sure on that, but
Again, it's just something that someone has said. Whether it's actually true or not, again, it could be believing that. I mean, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna mention what's been said in the comments, because yes, it was that person who did say it. Again, yes, they did once believe a dog in a football result. That's the story for another time. But I just want to mention, obviously, they've kind of told us obviously what's happened, and now we know more about Eriksen than we did before. Now, final question before we wrap this up: does this game change anything so far about your thoughts about either team going into the tournament, or has it changed anything? I'll go to Lucas first, actually, because I can always keep going to you, Arn.
Short answer, no. Long answer, no. No, I was basically expecting I wasn't expecting too much of Croatia. I think England has a decent team who can go far in this tournament. I don't see Croatia getting deeper into the tournament than maybe round of 16, depending on the draw. Maybe they have a lucky draw, but other than that,
I just had a notification saying it's finished. England won 1-0. I'm like, really? Thanks for that. Really up-to-date information there from Flash.
Yeah, but I don't think, in my opinion, anything has changed, because I hadn't really high hopes for this Croatia team. And England look decent. They can build up from there. Yes.
Arn, yourself, anything changed? Has anything changed your thoughts?
No, I mean, I thought that was going to be a little bit tighter than it was. I thought Croatia would have created a little bit more. I had England winning the group anyway. I felt this was a group that England should get out of, that they should win. That wasn't the issue for me for this England team. The issue is going to be when they go into the knockout stages and you get mixing up with teams that will actually properly test that back line. I think you put pressure on those defenders. This might change if Maguire's fit and Stone's injury wasn't a bad one, and they can hold that together and play a left back, then you could see them going a little bit further than I predicted. But I'm not holding out too much hope. It was a good performance, though. It was better. the opening like half an hour in particular, I thought England played really well.
I think, in my opinion, you're over criticizing the back line a bit, because I see it the same way in Germany. Like, if we look at our defense, we all just scream in horror because it doesn't work really pretty well. But if you look at it from the outside, like, Rudiger is good, Hummels is a good player, Ginter is a good player.
It's funny you should say that, because I think the defense is your worst area as well. I think it's a bit disjointed.
Yeah, it is. It is not but I think if you're too close at the team, like you are for England, and I am for Germany, it's always that the weaknesses look bigger than they are. They are there, but I think they are not as big as you think or say. I think they have a decent defense. If Maguire comes back, I don't think it's going to be. It definitely will be the deciding point if they go against a big team. But other than that, I think they will do good against pretty much 2/3 of the tournament.
Oh, it's purely because of the fact that all I can hear on Arn's area is birds making noise and sounds.
Well, let me show you what's going on here. So basically, the whole side of this room is open because it got so hot. My PC is like down here, and I felt it about 20 minutes into the game, and it was so hot that I was like, I need to get some air into here. So I've opened all this up. So like, here is my garden, and it's all coming, all the air's coming in. But obviously you've got wildlife with that as well.
So if we look at it now, the next two games obviously today are the the great battle between Austria and North Macedonia in Bucharest, and then we have the Netherlands versus the Ukraine. We'll be covering both of them as of 10 o'clock tonight.
Yes.
And we will be back on for a quick 20 minutes to tell you what's been going on. Just want to say thank you first to Alan for coming on and having a word with us. And obviously, thank you, Lucas, for coming on. We appreciate it very much.
I'm like Scotland in the Euros. I'm really happy to be here.
Give us the thumbs up. We're really happy to be here. Right, we will be back at 10 o'clock after watching more god-awful football. No, more. I think England can get knocked out. Yeah. You would think it's all right. I think it was absolute dog shit.
Wait till tomorrow when Scotland get absolutely slapped by the Czech Republic, and then we'll talk.
Not going to happen. Anyway, I've been Eddie. He's been Arn. They were Lucas and Alan. Thank you very much. We will see you all tonight at 10. Thank you.